What's good, y'all? What's good? Your boy Mike Sears, Speaking Clout Podcast. And I'm here today, returning guests from Apartment 5B. They've been here before. Y'all know them. Ladies first, shout out to Porsha. How you doing
Hello.
tonight?
Good. How are you guys? Sorry, my camera's off.
It's all good. And the general of Apartment 5B, Brother Kel.
What's going on, fam? I'm just glad to
Yeah,
always
brother.
be back, man. Porsha hilarious, man.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
She said graces with her beauty, man.
Exactly. You got the icon.
And
We gotta call her. She's an icon. She's an icon. Porsha's icon.
Hip Hop Now podcast. I've been wanting to work with this brother for a grip. Shout out to Vegas. What's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
What's up, y'all? Porsha don't like my pretty boy look. You know what I'm saying? Try to come with the purple, with the cut. I don't just be hip hopping it all the time. Sometimes you got R&B it a little bit, you know.
Right.
I guess you look great.
Thank you.
And I thought since Nas released King's Disease, we'll count down our top 10 songs, and who else in to get the good brothers and sister of Apartment 5B and the homie Vay, and everyone knows me. Christopher Wallace is my favorite rapper of all time, but I think Nasir Jones is the illest lyricist to ever live. In my top 3 MCs ever, so this is gonna be good. And like we do every episode of Speaking Clout Podcast, we talk about how we discover the artist. So I'll give you all the floor, then I'll follow after y'all. Porsha, ladies first. So
Sure. I discovered Nas. I wish I could say it was like the guest verse on Live at the Barbecue. I wish I could say it was from Jump, but it was actually off Illmatic. It wasn't until Illmatic dropped that I heard Nas, and actually thought he was dope, like really out the gate. Everyone, it's kind of one of those things like I was catching up to what everyone already knew. But where I was located, it was just main source wasn't what we were able to get our hands on as far as hip hop was concerned. So yeah, I mean, it was right when Illmatic dropped, Illmatic hit, and that was kind of the big thing, and everybody was talking about it. And I'm literally in central Canada, so like above North Dakota, and people were talking about Illmatic. And in Canada. So the stretch of that and the impact of that album was felt almost immediately there. So yeah.
dope.
For me, it was I'm at City Hall in Philly, waiting for the train on the train platform, listening to Main Source, Breaking Adams, Live at the Barbecue come on. And this dude just said he snuffed Jesus. And I was like, yo, what the fuck just happened? Like, yo, this nigga just snuffed Jesus. Like, and for years, I couldn't even say that line. I'd be like, when I was 12, like, I'm like, yo, this nigga really said he snuffed Jesus. And ever since then, it was just, you just wanted to hear what he had to say next. I think the next time was Back to the Grill, MC Search. He said he was waving automatic guns at nuns. I'm like, okay, this nigga's Satan. You know what I mean? Fresh Train to Hell, you know what I mean? So, and then next thing you know, it was the Zebrahead soundtrack with Halftime, and then of course Illmatic. So definitely the main source, Live at the Barbecue.
Dope.
For me, this is a hard question because it's like, how did you discover Nas? It's like I knew the nigga. That's but just musically, I'll say this, like for me, like when I was younger, I didn't even know he really rhymed like that. To be honest, just being around, your kids or whatever, everybody like hip hop, everybody spitting hip hop or whatever, or dancing or whatever the case may be. But it was never a case where it was like, yo, Nas is the rapper. Like my cousin and probably his friends knew that more than I did. But honestly, it wasn't until I didn't know until maybe Halftime on the Zebrahead soundtrack when I was told that he had a song on the soundtrack, and I was like, who? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait, Nasir got a song? And and I heard it was on the Halftime soundtrack, and I remember listening to it, and I was like, oh, this joint is alright. Obviously, you know, with the Rest in Peace Ill Will stuff in there, you know, I felt a certain way about it, in a good way, but also somber because of what happened. But the thing with me was, I guess the best way for me to answer that is like when it clicked for me as a fan, as opposed to knowing somebody that rhymes and just being a fan automatically. And I think for me, it was after Illmatic was out and I heard Represent. And when I heard the bars on Represent, I was like, holy shit. Like, Nasir could fucking rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew he could rap before, but it was like, no, he kind of special. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that it was a strange situation, even with the release of Illmatic. I didn't get that those first impressions that everybody else got, you know, being so close to the situation. But as a hip hop fan, I think once I heard like Represent in New York State of Mind, that's when it kind of clicked for me as becoming also a fan of his music. So
dope, yeah. I watched that episode you did with Kill about the night your cousin passed, and that was a great episode, man. So those who don't know, Vega's a cousin of Ill Will, the late great Ill Will. So rest in peace to him. Word. For me, my uncle had the halftime vinyl, and he kept playing that shit on the Zebrahead soundtrack, the halftime 12-inch. And he kept playing that shit, and I was like, who's this? He's like, it's Nas. Then he played me the Live at the Barbecue verse. And it wasn't until like 95 I got the Illmatic cassette and was blown away. And been a fan ever since. Die Hard. Top 3. There's a lot of bumps in his discography, but he'll always be my top 3. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, top 10, man. Starting off with number 10. Let's go to Porsha.
Okay. Don't hold me to this ranking, okay? Like the only one you can hold is my number 1 spot. So all of these are my, like, as I was writing, like putting this list together, I was thinking to myself, like, I am trying to think of 10 and I've already written down 12. So for me, Nas just has so many dope joints that
yeah, it was hard for me too.
It's super hard. So for me, like, again, don't hold me, but these are definitely my favorites, but the rankings could change and I may add like at any point.
Yeah,
so don't hold me. I got at number 10 Nas's Like.
Oh man.
And I love that joint. I love it. I just think listen, like Nas has a way with his flow and his delivery in a kind of way that's so smooth that you just kind of get wrapped up in what he's saying. And I love Nas's Like for that. I just think it just does everything that I needed to do. And I love the concept of it and how he's talking about, like, it's sort of just kind of like, I'm dope and I know that. So I like it.
Yeah, it's a great, great song. Nasty shit.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
For me, number 10 spot, I got You the Man.
Oh yeah.
Getting back in basics with Large Professor on the beat. You know what I mean? Like Stillmatic was, you know, definitely one of my favorite Nas albums, and just looking at the bars. Your plan was to knock me out the top of the game, but I overstand they truth is all lame. My whole cannons that shoot balls of flames right in their fat mouths, and I carve my name. Nas too real, Nas true king. It's however you feel. Go ahead, you swing. Your arms too short to box with God. I don't kill soloists, only kill squads. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, that's bar work. That's bar work. I've been on the timeline all day talking about bar work. That's bar work. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And then the beat was crazy, and it just, you know, just a dope all-around song. Like I said, you know, Nas and Large Professor, and for it not to feel dated or anything, like I still see people, it's going to be 2052 people still going to be like, yo, Nas need to get back with Primo. Nas need to get with Large Professor. It's
not going to happen.
Like, nah, man. But it was just dope to see on Stillmatic for him to get with Large Pro and Primo and still be able to, you know, knock out some bangers. So that's my number 10, You the Man.
Yeah, love that shit off Stillmatic. Such a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you got, Vase? Can you hear us okay, brother?
Vague.
Yeah, you talking to me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good.
You
What's
not
What we on number 10?
Yeah.
All right, so for number 10, I got Hate Me Now. And I think what I liked about that record so much was just where he was in his career and how, you know, things had kind of transitioned in hip hop in general around that time with Bad Boy and other, you know, labels or whatever. Rappers started making more money, you know what I'm saying? And I was thinking, like, you know, there was a lot of dudes from that 90s time who kind of faded away because, you know, just the attention of hip hop just got so fixed.
Oh shit! Damn it! We'll come back.
He'll come back.
Yeah, I'll just say my number 10 is Blazer 50.
Woo!
Blazer 50 off that motherfucking Lost Tapes. Attended to Be for I Am. Produced by LES. That shit is fire, man. Love that beat. You know, Blazer 50. Sit back in the drop top is all Bentley. Cuss with me. This shit could make Bobby divorce Whitney. Like, come on, bro. That shit is fire. If that made I Am, if I Am was a double disc, it's supposed to be. Oh man, we're looking at a fucking classic. You know what I mean? Blazer 50 is just a tremendous song. Love that shit. It's Vegas again. Hell yeah.
My bad.
It's all good. I just did my top 10. So you can finish what you were saying, bro.
Okay, so I said, well, what could y'all hear? I said, Hate Me Now.
Yeah, then
When rappers was falling off in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just felt like, you know, there was just a new era of hip hop, you know, going ahead, and Nas being one of those guys as far as on the East Coast that kind of, you know, ushered in a new state of lyricism and all of that. And, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't like certain directions he went. And I just like the whole energy behind Hate Me Now. But I think what made me like it even more was the video, because the video kind of exuded that, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the Nas you're gonna get. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a evolution of that. And part of it was personally knowing him and knowing that he wasn't just the army fatigue dude. Like, niggas like to get fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that Illmatic Nas was a snapshot in time of how he felt like dressing, how he felt like talking. But knowing them back in the days, that's kind of what they like. They like fur coats and want, you know what I'm saying, to dress a certain way. So Hate Me Now is a song, which is dope because it's kind of like a catchy anthem that you can sing for yourself when you want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I do. And if people are going to hate on that, then so be it. But I just love the lyrics. I love the confidence in the record. Obviously, I love the video. But yeah, I realized that, like, because I mean, so many Nas records and shit. It's hard to say what's your top 10. But I think with that one, I was really impressed by that song, and especially it being a club hit, because he didn't have too many of those. So that's my number 10.
Yo, Vega, the funny thing about Hate Me Now, me and Kaz was actually in New Orleans at the Gavin at a party, and they played that, they like premiered it. And like you said, hearing it in the club for the first time, like it was like, yo, this shit is dope, man. This shit. And then you heard that Mickey Monkey break that BDP used for Part-Time Sucker too. It was like, oh, this shit is crazy. And then it seemed like once you heard Puff was gonna be in the video and everything else like that, then it kind of started to be, you know, more commercial. First time me and Kyle heard it, we was like, yo, that shit crazy. You know what I mean? We ain't think nothing commercial about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's so many things about Nas, though. We can talk Nas all day. I feel like he's wrongfully disrespected for so many different reasons.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Definitely is. Oh yeah. We're number 9 now.
Okay, I got for my number 9. I got Made You Look, and I have that because I love the energy on that song. I love the way. I think, like, Salam Remy did a fantastic job with production, and I don't know, again, so it goes back to what I think you were just saying, Mike, where Nas gets this like undue hate for beat picking, but a lot of his songs have dope beats and sound good all together. Made You Look is one of those. Like, I think every single thing about that track brings out everything. Like, Nas's lyrics bring out the production brings out the lyrics, and he closes these verses with these one-liners, or like these lines that just kind of get you, and then it goes right into the hook, and it's dope, like, or the chorus, whatever. It's dope. I love the way he sets that up, and I love the energy he brings with that. Like, just every single time he says "Made You Look," like, it's just so dope, you know. Yeah, they shooting, exactly. And then, like, "You a slave to a page in my rhyme book," like, I just, wow, you know, he's incredible, and this song is just I love it. So maybe I've ranked that too low, but I'm okay with that being a number 9. Don't hold me. That might be like my number 3 next week.
Nigga said, don't say the car's topless, say the titties is out.
There you go.
That right there, bro. That line alone had me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like my thing with the minimum. Like, I need that from every MC. I understand every verse ain't gonna be that. I need that quotable, at least one quotable from you each album. You know, especially if you were good. You know what I mean? Like, it's like seeing LeBron play. Like, nigga, I need a double-double from you nightly, dog. Like, you one of the dopest ever. And that was it for me. That's don't say the car's topless, say the titties is out. My number 9 is Rewind. Again, him linking back up with Large Professor, and just him telling the story backwards, man, is just, you know, it's just flat out amazing. Like, these are the conversations I would love to have with Nas. Like, I don't want to talk shit about Illmatic. I don't give a fuck about where was your head at. Nothing. What was you doing when you thought of Rewind? Like, what was it? What was you? Was you in Jungle bugging? Was y'all, I want to hear everything. Like, niggas was chilling on the roof, whatever. Because, like, just to come up with that concept, and I always tell a story about how I use Rewind and I Gave You Power to teach my teens about hip hop. You know, so instead of being like, yo, y'all rappers is whack, I'll just play them Rewind and be like, oh, that don't make no sense. Outside right we, I'm like, say it backwards, nigga. They're like, oh shit, Mr. Kill. And I'm like, exactly. Now, can your favorite fucking rapper do that? And they be like, nah. And I'm like, there you go. So, you know, it's funny that Nas is the person I go to, is like my go-to card whenever I'm talking to my teens about hip hop. You know, and like I said, Rewind was just crazy again, back with Large Pro. The whole, you know, It's Yours drum break was just crazy. So, you know, just dope song to me. So Rewind is definitely my number 9.
Shit is nuts.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. Just crazy too, because I had an idea similar to that back then. As soon as I heard it, I was like, well, not writing that shit.
Was it to tell a story backwards, like even to the point of like how he was like outside right we, or it was just gonna be
it was more so I wanted to have one verse where the lyrics, regardless of whatever it was about, not a story, the lyrics go one way, right? Just a verse.
Mm-hmm.
The second verse would be me telling that same thing but backwards. So not necessarily saying the words backwards, but creating that first verse so that it can be said backwards.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then taking the third verse and mixing it up. So they would all three sound like different verses.
But they all say
it's like I forget what you call it, but it's like taking, you know, creating the same word out of one word or whatever. Or different multiple words out of one word.
You should still do that, bro. That shit sound crazy.
Nigga, I'm too old for that shit. Why? When I was younger, I was all into that shit. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say this and say that. I had started it, but now I just be like, when the fuck I'm gonna do that? Like,
right.
Never.
Right. I feel.
What is this? Number 9. My number 9 is Thief's Theme off of the Streets Disciple album. First of all, since we talking about ideas, that I Am Butterfly sample was shit that I was like, that's gonna be my record. Nobody sampled that shit yet. That's gonna be my shit. And then this nigga did it. And you know, I wasn't too mad at it because I was just like, I just wanted to hear that shit in the hip hop realm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That sample. But the shit he's saying on there, like that second verse got me. It get me every time. Like what he's saying, I take winters off because I love summer beef. Started 87
Seven
with
with the shotty in the sheep.
3/4 length beige dress to kill. Like, what's a shell at the ground? Pellets hit the crowd. Nobody like a snitch. Everybody shut your mouth. Like, and I was explaining this to my brother. I'm gonna put him on Front Street the other day because I was like, look, any other rapper just would have said they had a beige sheepskin coat on, but this nigga not only said sheep, but he's told you the color, he told you the length. Like, that's the type of shit you like. You know what I'm saying? You could easily say it in layman's terms and just say, you know, I shot some shit up or whatever, or I have the shotgun. Nah, this nigga said 3/4 length beige dress to kill. Like, just shit like that, man. And even though the video was like, still like a crazy dope record that came later in his career, which I even enjoyed even more. Just one of the best records I heard from him in a long time. And like at that point, I was just like, shit, this nigga, he just ain't gonna stop. Like, he just got joints, you know what I'm saying? And it was hard to narrow that down because when you go back and listen to Streets Disciple, it's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be.
That Nazareth Savage.
Yeah, it's some shit on that album.
Yeah, I don't know why people hate on Streets Disciple. It's really not that bad at all.
See,
Right.
and I'll be the odd man out here. I don't think it's a hate. I think, well, keep in mind, for me, I have high standards of people, especially if you one of the GOATs. Like, I don't expect Sam Cassell to come out and do a fucking lot back in the 95 finals. You know what I mean? Olajuwon, I expect you to go out there and dominate. I expect you for there to be domination. So I don't think Streets Disciples whack. I mean, I got 3 or 4 of my favorite Nas songs off that album. But as a whole, I'm just like, nah, I ain't feeling this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely no hate. It's just like, and again, maybe I need to lower my expectations. Like with this new Nas album, I was like, I'm coming in at a 3. I'm coming in like right here. If I can get a 3, I'm out. I'm good, and I'm good to go. So it's like, I feel like I've had to dumb down my expectations. And I don't know, when we watch LeBron hoop, I don't think nobody's expecting LeBron to not drop 30 on it, especially playoff LeBron. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I may be one of them odd people out there. If you are one of the, I'm with you, Mike. Nas is number 3 to me, ever. Of almost 50 years of MCing. Like, if there may be over 500 MCs, and if you're number 3, I do expect you to you should be dropping 4 mics or better, in my opinion. 4 mics or better. If you the top 3 ever, like ever, 4 mics or better. Anything under 4 mics to me, I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like playoff P right now. Where's Paul George? Niggas is like, yo, what the fuck? Where you at, my nigga? Like, Kawhi needs you. Like, yo, so it's like, yo, you were supposed to come to LA and bring us the chip, and nigga, you Luka out here dropping 40 without Porzingis on you. Like, so, and that just may be me. But if you top 3, my expectations are just so high for you. And maybe that's unfair. But yeah, that's just me. I expect
because
Jordan to come out and drop 40 every night. We expected Mike to show up, to perform every night.
Yeah, but you talking about Nas with the Wizards jersey on.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
You expecting Jordan to do that with the Bulls jersey on. And LeBron is in his 17th year doing shit that, you know, he ain't supposed to be doing.
Right.
So I think if your favorite rapper is older, I mean, not that I expect them to fall off in some regards, but I expect their hunger to be a little bit more tamed and them to probably be looking for other, you know, I don't know, other avenues to express themselves and not necessarily try to kill it every time. I mean, maybe he think he killing it every time, but
and see, I guess that's where I'm on the outs that I'm like, the great thing with Nas is I know this is through Mass Appeal Def Jam, but I feel like you don't have a label forcing you to rap right now. So you like, even the fans, I haven't, you know, all we see on the timeline is Illmatic. Like, I don't even see Nas fans saying, where's the new Nas album? So my thing is, if that, to me, that's the difference between sports and music, is that at the end of the day, like in sports, your body breaks down and you just can't do it anymore. Like Michael Jordan kill the will mentality was still there. Like that's never going anywhere. Like Kobe killed a whip, you know, Mamba mentality is now maybe his body won't allow him to do that, but mentally he's still there. So my only thing is if you can't kill it, then why do it? Because I would assume Nas don't need rap money. Like he's got the investment, so it's not like this Hit Boy album is really gonna pay the bills, and then your label's not pressing you to do it. So if you want to really do it, for me, it's like, then you need to have that hunger. If that means you need to go, Rakim said it once. He was like, yo, I get writer's block, I go live a little bit more. You know what I mean? And trip somewhere, fucking spend. Yo, whenever I get writer's block, I go to the most hood Popeyes in DC and sit there for 4 hours. I leave with new characters. I leave with I leave with the script writes itself just sitting in a hood Popeyes. Like I can only imagine just taking the A train all day and you just air hustling. Like, bruh. So that's just.
But that doesn't mean you're gonna produce something that people are gonna like.
I mean, it's true. And again, like I've got nothing. I like the album. I think it's a 4-mic album. I think it's a dope album. I think the problem for me, and I don't want to dissuade the show. I apologize, you know. But
no, it's all good. You shit off, my nigga.
I think for me, it's kind of just like it was kind of like what happened with Thought when Thought came out with Stream of Thought 1, and at the same time, Royce and Fonte came out with Book of Ryan and Life is Good. That's Nas. Oh, No News is Good News. And I was like, damn, these two dudes is spitting. They on it. They sharp. But then they also talking about their lives. They talking about raising their kids. They talking about different things. And it just made me look at Thought like, yeah, nigga, you still barring us to death, but you really ain't saying shit. And I may not have realized that if those other two albums didn't come out at the same time, and that they're all basically contemporaries of each other. I felt like Royce and Fonte stepped their game up while Thought was still here. Nothing wrong with Thought is spitting because he's spitting fire, but it's just like, but damn, your contemporaries doing this. So I think what happened was when I heard this Ransom joint, I'm like, yo, this nigga is like he's rapping for his fucking life. Like, god damn, like everything is a quotable on this. And I listen to Nas all weekend, and it's dope. It is dope. I have
that blue bench.
Yeah, like again, I have nothing negative to say about it. But like I said, it's like, I don't know. You and wifey ever been to a restaurant and y'all go and then you look up a year later and you like, damn, we ain't been back. Like the food was good. Everything was good. But it ain't that. And again, that's just me. That Ransom joint is calling me. I'm like, yo, I want to hear that again. And Nas for me, it was like, yo, it's dope. I probably won't listen to it again, but shit is dope, you know. But again, and maybe at 50, somebody was on the TL today and they was like, yo, at 50, you can't expect that from an MC. And I'm like, I don't know. I think you can. I think Joe Buttons is still sit out here and bar you to death.
I think you're right to want that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with wanting that. I just think you can't compare Ransom to Nas.
Yeah, you're right.
Nas is way more successful. He done hit them points that Ransom is writing for right now.
Right.
So when you've already hit it, and one dude trying to get that recognition,
right?
One person is just more hungrier than the other.
But shouldn't you still have that hunger?
But who says he doesn't? He might look at he think all his albums are classics, even though they're not.
Who, Joe?
No, I was saying, not remember when Nas was like, you know, all my albums are classics, and he was like, no,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I think it's a state of mind. That doesn't mean he don't still feel that way. It's just that he's not producing something that's touching you in that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be that hungry because him and Jay-Z are just more like, you know, we don't need to really do this, but sometimes we like to do it. You know what I'm saying? So,
and see, the wild part to me is Jay came to eat on that Jay Electronica joint. Like I felt like Jay was in his motherfucking bag. Now what? And again,
but niggas wasn't saying that with 444 though.
But see, here's the thing. I've always said this with Jay. I feel like Jay's the type of MC. He needs that heat on his ass. So I felt like with Jay, when I heard Jay Elect, I was totally shocked at Jay's bars. I was like, fuck, like damn. I was just saying, dude, should hang it up. And this nigga came to. And maybe that was because he understood I'm next to Jay Electronica. And this is supposed to be that next nigga. Yeah. So I need to, you know, I need to get in my bag. Like this is what I was talking about earlier when niggas getting a bag. Jay got in his bag for that motherfucking Jay Electronica album. And again, not that this means anything. Ev don't even like Jay-Z. And that nigga called me like, yo, this motherfucking Jay-Z is going. And I'm like, nigga, who? Like, nigga, you don't even like Jay. And he was like, yo, Jay is, and I'm like, but that's what I mean by, so I feel like if you 50, you can still get in your bag. There's sometimes when niggas just be coasting. But when niggas want to get in their bag, niggas could get in their bag. Because to me, Jay was coasting on 444. It was just like, I'm just rhyming. But like on this fucking Jay Electronica, like I probably like it more because of Jay than Jay Elect. Like I look at that Jay album. You know what I mean? But and again, that everybody watching this is no diss to Nas. Don't blow up my timelines. I don't want none of God's sons coming for me. I like it. I like it. I think it's a dope ass album. I'm just saying. I apologize. I digress. Back to you, Mike. I'm sorry, I'm Brody.
It's all good. All right. My number 9, coming off God's Son. I got Book of Rhymes. Produced by Alchemist, man. Now I just going through old rhyme books, reciting shit. It's like I forgot that bitch number. Why you laughing, Alchemist? That track is amazing, man. And he's saying the shit is weak, and he's spitting some ill shit in Book of Rhymes, man. Oh, it's my favorite.
This nigga just got so much shit. Like everything y'all are saying, I'm like, fuck. I don't got Made You Look. I don't got these things. I'm like, fuck. This nigga got too much shit. And I got like 7 extra songs, and none of them are the shit y'all have named. I'm like, I forgot about these things. This is why this is my number 3. Because it's like, shit, I got 5 extra songs, and none of them are the shits that y'all are naming. I'm like, how the fuck did I forget Made You Look?
We can name the honorable mentions later on, all that fly shit. Yeah, man, that Book of Rhymes, dog. Like, he takes his old rhyme book and thinks it's whack. He's spitting ill shit. Great song. Alchemist killed that beat too.
Yeah, you know what? Let me say a little bit about that too. Like, what I like about that song a lot also is MCs know what that shit's like. You have mad rhymes that like unfinished, like shit started ill, but maybe you started to make it whack or you never finished it or whatever. And I thought it was dope for him to make a song where it's like, I want to complete these and make them better and put them on a song, but they just never really went anywhere past these couple of bars. So I'm gonna give it to you anyway, but I'm gonna put it in a concept because that's how I always was. I'm like, man, I'm gonna finish this shit. Like I didn't want to leave nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like if I thought some shit started hot, even if I started to get a little whack with it, I was just like, well, I'll edit and do whatever. But I just thought it was a dope concept to do that because, you know, a lot of MCs can relate to having like a book of rhymes with plenty of rhymes in there, like they never used or never spit, whatever. So to share that in a song and a concept was just a dope idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
very dope song. I think that's something else Nas don't get enough props for is his concepts. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of dope concepts.
Amazing shit.
Should I go with my number 8?
Yep. Oh yeah, Porsha.
I have I Gave You Power. And although Nas wasn't the first to do it, I think Tupac obviously had Me and My Girlfriend. And that one to me is like, we're not talking about Tupac, but anyways, I Give You Power I love this song. And I think even though Nas wasn't the first one to do it and he kind of, I don't know, in a way bit the concept, which had already been done, I think it sort of shows that he could do it as well and still make it sound dope, which he did. And I really like that. I love when rappers take, you know, they do this like personification or they rap from the perspective of an object or some inanimate like thing that isn't a person. And I think Nas, like, if Nas didn't have this track, I would feel kind of gypped because I think that if there's an MC that can do a song like this well and do a concept like this well, it's definitely Nas. So I'm glad that he has it. I'm glad that it turned out as dope as it did. I love it. I think I think it maybe ranked too low for me. But I Gave You Power is great. So
Always I'm in some shit. The abdomen is my clip. The barrel's my dick. Oh my goodness. That shit is nuts, yo.
Yeah.
Amazing song.
Number 8 for me, I got Shootouts off of Illmatic.
Oh my.
And it's so funny because I always say I feel like Backpackers give Nas hell for this album, but I felt like if these same beats said produced by Large Professor, Primo, Havoc, RZA, Q-Tip, it would be a 5 mic album. When I heard Shootouts, I knew RZA did it. I had the advanced copy of it, and when
greatest Nas album ever made.
When I heard Shootouts, I was like, oh, this nigga got with RZA. This shit is crazy. I mean, Release with Simi, besides the Henny, it's eyes that seen plenty. Fiends get skinny. If Queens was a Craig Jenny instead of Dr. Grand, it's 200. It's cracked 200 grams. I pump a G pack, peeping for where the D's at. Slow looking for Rambo. The cop who got grazed back in the day, chasing niggas to my Project Maze. That cop is not deaf. Man, just like Vague was saying, there's something with Nas does, like he's able to just take you there. Like you visually go with him wherever he's talking about, man. You know what I mean? So, and then like I said, I thought that beat was incredible, man. Like literally, after I finally got the album, I had to tip my hat to the track masters because I'm like, yo, for these niggas to have done beats, you could have told me Watch Them Niggas was Large Pro or Pete Rock, and I would have been like, dope. You know what I mean? You could show me Shootouts was RZA, and I would have been like, yep, that's the woo. So for them to be able to do them joints like that, yeah. But yeah, Shootouts is my number 8, man. I love that joint.
Yeah, it's not on my list, but it's one of our favorite Nas songs ever, man.
Yeah, me too.
The Streets Were Foul, Behind Every Roof of Cloud. Oh my goodness. Fucking love it, yo. That's my shit.
Yeah, I think a lot of cats like to throw it was written down in social media, but can't remember the last time they actually listened to the shit.
They're dumbass niggas, man. My favorite album. That's the greatest Nas album ever made, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like forget a lot of what was on there and shit.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Ether, and mainly because like when I heard the Takeover, when I heard the verse about Nas on the Takeover, and this coming off of hearing, Nostradamus and everybody kind of feeling like, Nas got a whack ass album and I Am was already shaky. I just thought he was done because, you know what I'm saying, especially as far as New York City. And I guess overall in hip hop, like Jay-Z wasn't missing. Like it was hit after hit album. He was dropping an album every fucking year. Like he had multiple hits. He was on the mixtape. He was on everything. You know what I'm saying? He was killing everything. And it looked like Nasir was declining. And when I first heard Ether, when I heard just the hook alone, forget the verses, taking something that Jay-Z said on multiple songs in I Will Not Lose and turning that shit into a hook, you know what I'm saying, is in itself, I was like, well, shit, they got me on the hook. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me hear these bars. And just his rebuttals, a lot of shit that he was saying about Jay, a lot of people were already saying, that's the funny part about, like, after the fact, when a lot of people saying, like, oh, well, that shit was mostly lies. And it was like, nah, man, a lot of people was saying that shit about Jay-Z. A lot of niggas was saying, like, why you keep saying Biggie's rhymes? Like, everybody was saying that. Eminem killed you on this shit. Everybody was already saying that. That's what made Ether dope, because he put the shit in a song. He took everything that everybody was saying, how he felt, and put it in a song. And then him having rebuttals, like, you know what I'm saying, like when Jay-Z, tried to play him for, like, trying to say some smart shit every now and again in rhymes. And he said, ask me if I'm trying to kick knowledge. Nah, I'm trying to kick the shit you need to learn, though. That ether, the shit that make the soul burn slow. I was just like, oh, shit. I was like, God damn. Then, is he Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy? Oh, I get it. You Biggie and he Puffy. Come on, man. Like,
oh my
Brooklyn
God.
felt that.
Oh my God.
Jay-Z was hurt because he know Brooklyn was like, word, nigga, you all kind of, you and that nigga trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all ain't Big and Puff. So I just love the record because it was like one of the greatest, not only one of the greatest diss records of all time, but one of the greatest comebacks of all time, because the diss record was dope, but then Stillmatic was dope.
Stillmatic.
So it was just one of those things where it was like, oh, you thought I fell off. No, I could do this shit. Kind of like you're saying, Kill. I could do this shit anytime I want. You know what I'm saying? Since you want to try to put my back against the wall. But yeah, like, it wasn't the greatest beat, but it really wasn't about the beat. It was really about those lyrics, what he was saying, Jay-Z's status at the time compared to his, and how he had to really remind people of, before there was Jay-Z, niggas was talking about who's the best MCs, Biggie or Nas. Jay-Z inserted himself into that conversation. Rightfully so, he earned it after a while, because, you know, the nigga isn't nice. I'm not going to say that. But I just thought it was a dope way to, like, reestablish himself in the hip-hop game lyrically. And Ether just led the way, man. Nigga had that album to back it up. So Ether's definitely one of my favorite moments in hip-hop, and one of my favorite Nas records.
Big, tell me this real quick, bro. In Brooklyn, but you spent all this time in Queensbridge. Who was you going for in that battle?
I was going for, I'm a hip hop fan, so it wasn't a Queensbridge Brooklyn thing.
That's what I love about you, man. Like, you was able to do the pop
but
thing.
Listen,
like,
but if it was Biggie and Nas, I'm Brooklyn all day, nigga. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Biggie, my favorite rapper, and he from the borough, and he from up the block from me. I'm not saying I love you, but no.
This is why I love Vegas.
Jay-Z was different because it was more so like, I thought he was taking cheap shots when he thought Nas was down. You know what I'm saying? Like, the niggas was kind of declining, his albums kind of whack to people. Unfortunately, his mom's had just passed. I don't think Jay-Z knew that, but it just seemed like he was kicking him while he was down. And then for him to like I'll give people this from my perspective. Like, being in Baltimore and that happening was one thing. But when I went back to NY like a week or two, like after that shit came out, and everybody's playing nothing but fucking Nas everywhere, in the car, on the radio, I was like, this nigga just took the city back from Jay-Z with a one song. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So definitely one of them dope shits.
Quick story about Ether. I was a freshman in high school, and it was like this December 01. I listened to this radio station called 91.1, and for some reason, I don't know how these niggas did it, they were playing the explicit version. And my mind was fucking blown, you know? And I went to my local, you know, mixtape bootleg nigga, and he gave me this I think Clue tape, it might have been, with Ether on it. Like, it was already getting leaked in the streets, and whew, that shit was crazy. That was a great time in hip hop, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We number 8 now, right? Pretty sure?
Yeah.
Number
8.
Yeah.
I think it's Porsha, right?
Did you say?
No, I already said mine. You didn't say yours, Mike.
Okay, thank you. Represent, Illmatic. Oh, man. That Primo beat is crazy. Nas killed that shit. Talking about the history with the Queensbridge battle with Shane and all that, and just dope. Even at the end, all the niggas talking shit. You know, grimy ass song. I love that shit, man. Classic. Represent. Probably my second favorite song off Illmatic. We'll get to my favorite song in a little while, but yeah, Represent is my number 8. Classic Primo beat too, man. Love that shit. That's hard to earn, Primo. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 7 is Life's a Bee. And so I try not to curse, but
it's all good, Porsha.
Yeah,
I'm a vulgar ass nigga, but it's all good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I love this song because I think like Nas and AZ to me were like just the perfect pair. And AZ is very Nas-like in a way. Or he tries, I guess. I don't know how you want to spin it, but I love AZ. And I think like he's, to me, I always view him as like Nas's little brother, you know? And I just love that they have a track together. I think that it was Dope that it was Illmatic that AZ was on. I think this track is just brilliant in terms of chemistry, in terms of lyrics. Yeah, I mean, I love that it exists, and I love that it's sort of stamped in one of the most impactful albums of all time ever. So, yeah, life's a B.
Yeah, and look, like he was the only feature.
Yep.
On there, and I feel comfortable saying this nowadays because now when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, that's true. AZ had the best verse on that shit because his verse is, I mean, even thinking about like when it came back, like obviously Nas shit is crazy also, but AZ verse on that shit is just ridiculous, and he's still around that way on this new Nas shit. Like, he's still sounding, in pocket. So probably because he on a better beat than he usually be on nowadays. Because I don't know what the fuck he be doing with his beat picking nowadays. But yeah, I agree. Like, such a dope record for a sample that I didn't expect the record to be as good or to like it as much as I did. Given that the sample was what it was, and it wasn't that much of a beat.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
All right, the next joint I got up is The Message. Off it was. I remember when they had the video for If I Ruled the World. It starts off with Nas with The Message playing when he in the whip, and I was like, "Yo, what is that? Like, fuck this! If I Ruled the World." I was like, "What is that?" And then the way that thing just set off, man, I love that beat. Fake Thug, No Love, you get the slug, CB4, Gusto, your luck low, you didn't know till I was drunk, though, you played out, get fucked and ate out, prostitute, bitch, and got the game. Oh my God, like, to me, Nas is just going, man. It's, oh God, like, the whole little TV sets with Lex, the minimum, like, us finding out later on in life that was a shot at Jay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that was just dope to me. Like Veg, I guess like you said, like them taking shots at each other, like we would never know. Like, ain't no way no hip hop fan gonna know TV sets in the Lex, the minimum is a shot at Jay. You know what I mean? But Jay knew that shit. You know what I mean? So, I just, man, I love it. The scratches, I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. I just think it's a perfect song to me, man. And again, salute to the track masters, man, because they're known for just looping whatever, but them again, when they want to make beats, they can make some shit, So number 7 is The Message for me.
With the broke Mac, it won't spray white. They give a fuck what they hit.
Yo, like seriously, bro, like that. He's seriously. Like, and that's the hard part for when people say they don't like it was written. Like, I know people who say it's trash.
Yeah,
fuck them.
And it's literally, I'm like, it's because it says produced by the track masters. I don't care if you don't like Nas. I don't care if you don't like Tone and Pope. You could hate Steve Stout. There's no way you could listen to The Message. There's no way you could listen to Watch Them Niggas. I gave you power, shootouts. Even Nas fucking come. You can't listen to that and can't be like, yo, this is bar work right here. Like, how can you call this trash? Like, that's I'm always like blown, like, bro, again, and it just shows me how deep the hatred for the track masters in hip hop was.
Yeah.
Because my thing is this: y'all hate the track masters, but y'all don't have LES. All that motherfucker did was loop up fucking the Gap Band for Life's a Bitch, and ain't nobody say shit.
Pretty much.
And same thing with fucking Sugar Hill. All y'all did was loop up Sugar Free. Ain't 9 niggas say shit about that. But let the track masters loop up fucking If I Ruled the World. Oh God, y'all just killed hip hop. You just killed hip hop.
It's true. It's true.
Die. And it's like, wait. I know I'm not bugging. Like, I used to hate Life's a Bitch because I was like, yo, all they did was loop up the Gap Band. Like, all this other stuff is these niggas digging in the crates, and all this nigga did was do that. So I'm just at least have the same hate all around. I hate it when anybody just looped up any radio hit. LES, I don't care who it was. All that shit was whack to me. But don't just not like it when Tone and Pope do it, but then LES do the same exact shit. I guarantee you, if Life's a Bitch said produced by track masters, Illmatic ain't the Bible. Word on my life. I bet you $1 million if that shit said produced by Tone and Poke, Illmatic is no longer talked about. That's what we gotta do, Porsche. We gotta fucking get the credits fucked up because that'll get stop talking about Illmatic if it's a produced by Tone and Poke.
Well, here's the funny thing. Sorry to interject. I just tweeted a couple days ago about Tone and Poke and talked about how I feel like they really get undue hate, unjust hate for no like I cannot understand the basis for it, because when you listen to each track off of It Was Written, they are just dope all around. Like, these guys are good at what they do. And oddly enough, people just came out the woodwork talking about, nah, I love Tone and Poke. And I'm like, well, then where did all this It Was Written hate come from? All of a sudden now everybody loves Tone and Poke. Like, look at the tweet. It's crazy. Love all the positivity around it, but I don't remember people being this positive at the time.
Niggas hate on Trackmasters. They worked on this. One of the hardest records of all time.
But here's the wild part. The thing is most niggas don't read liner notes, number one. So I get where the hate comes from. The hate came from niggas is digging in the crates. Y'all are just looping up 80 hits. I get it. But here's the problem. Then hate on everybody doing that shit. Like I said, I ain't like Life's a Bitch. I ain't give a fuck who produced it. That shit could have said produced by Premier, and I would have been like, I don't like that shit. You just looped up the Gap Band. All I'm saying is stay within your rules. You know what I mean? Like, don't just say, oh, Tone and Poke is whack for it. Same thing like when Pete Rock be like, yo, I really produced Juicy. Puff and Big came down to the basement, had heard Juicy Fruit on repeat. So I'm like, because I know niggas who hate on Big for Juicy because Tone and Poke did it. So I'm like, so if it said Pete Rock, is that better? Do we no longer hate Juicy no more? Because it's still a fucking loop. So that's only my thing. Like, just if you don't like looping, people looping 80 hits, don't like nobody who does it. But don't give LES the pass. You know what I mean? And then shit on Tone and Poke. I got the Best of Trackmasters mixtape that's nothing but boom bap, and mad niggas is like, oh, I ain't know they did this. I ain't know they did that. I ain't know they did. I'm like, I get it, but these niggas got shit. These niggas just wanted to eat. That's the only difference. The difference between the Trackmasters and fucking Primo was, nigga, I want to move out of my mom's basement. That's the difference.
Right.
That's really what it came down to. Niggas forget, Gangstar was living with Brand from Marcellus when motherfucking Hard to Earn was out. Okay? So Gangstar, one of the biggest groups in hip-hop, is living in a jazz musician's basement with his family. Okay? When Q-Tip was doing Midnight Mirage, this nigga was living in his mom's house, sleeping in a twin bed in his sister's room.
Right.
Tribe Called Quest, the biggest group in the world. The only difference between them niggas and Tone and Poke, them niggas was like, nah, nigga, I want my own crib. Right. I want a car. I remember reading a Source article, and Tip was saying he had to decide, was he going to get a 3 1/4 or move out his mom's house? And he brought the 3 1/4. See, Trackmaster was like, I don't want to have to make that decision. Right. I'm going to get 3 1/4 and move out my motherfucking mom.
Right.
Yeah. The production that it was written is absolutely exceptional. I don't give a fuck when it was.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Yeah.
I don't pay those niggas money anyway. Honestly. Because they don't know what they're talking about. Like, if you listen to something like It Was Written and you don't hear the range and Trackmaster's production and the improvement in Nas's skills,
absolutely,
then you ain't really a fan. You just a fucking nigga just tagging along trying to be heard, and them niggas get ignored. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, because they're not close enough to punch them in their fucking face. But that's what were we? Number 7?
Number 7.
Yep.
Number 7 for me is Undying Love off of I Am.
Oh my god.
It was the last track on I Am. And it's probably one of the Nas tracks where I'm like, no, not enough people talk about this fucking record. And not enough people talk about Nas' storytelling skills. Like, you talk about like how I described Thief's theme, just a piece of a bar of him wearing a sheepskin coat, like casino nights. Like, he really describes everything that's going on. So by the time he gets into the story, you can envision it. You know what I'm saying? You know where you are, you know what the setting is, you know how the characters feel about it. And it's just one of those, it's such a slept on record. But you know, in recent years, I've been listening to it a lot, and I was like, man, this is one of his best records, man. And I know it's a deep cut for some of you quote unquote Nas fans who are like, what song is that? Yeah. But you saw how everybody else reacted when I said the title. You know what I'm saying? But again, for me, definitely one of Nas's best records. Probably was created because another one was bootleg that's on my list. But I ain't gonna say the name because even if it's on y'all list, I just want motherfuckers to reveal it. But yeah, Undying Love, that's my number 7.
Incredible song, incredible storytelling, great track. Love that shit. I like I Am more than most people. Like that bootleg is amazing. I got it in my Apple Music and all that. Good sound quality, but the retail is fire too, in my opinion, you know. But my number 7 of Stillmatic, Second Childhood, man.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. It's about you ain't grow up yet. You're over 40, living with your moms and shit. Just, you know, yakking up, you know. Love that shit. The Primo did his thing on that beat. Lyrically, storytelling wise, Nas came correct. Absolutely adore that song, man. Second Childhood. He breaks his mom furniture watching Comic View. That shit, so good. And that din 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 din, boom boom, like Primo's ill, so ill. That's my number 7. Second Childhood off the classic Stillmatic record.
And the funny thing is the ill shout out to Vague's aunt, you know, never curse in front of Miss Versi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was real dope. That was real dope. You know what I mean?
What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm saying I used to always say that rhyme, and then during that show, you was like, "Yeah, that's my aunt." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like I said, you know, like that's one of my favorite bars on there, like, because that's how it was with people. You know, you always had that lady in your building or on your block who you like, "Yo, you don't curse, chill, y'all." You know, like you had that respect. So to find out that was your aunt Will's mom was like real dope.
Yeah, when I first heard that, I was like, "Oh, okay." Because I was just like, my Aunt Versi cursed a lot, motherfucker. Like, so I was like, maybe that was a rule for y'all or some shit. But I thought it was dope too. I remember when, I think I remember asking her about it. Like, you know, he said your name in the song. Not much moves her, so she like, oh yeah. I'm like, he said your name in the fucking record. Like, there's not many Verses in the world except my sister, who's also named after her. But I was like, he said your name on the record. She was like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, oh. Okay. I was excited for you, I guess.
That's dope. That's dope.
Oh shit, it's my turn. No, it's Kill's turn.
My turn.
I think it's Porsha's turn.
Right.
Yeah. My number 6. I'm going to say Affirmative Action, and I know this song gets hate because of Foxy's Math, which whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I like Foxy's Math too, as horrible as it is. I love this entire song. I love everything about it from beginning to end. I love the way it flows into each rapper's verse. I love the Trackmasters did dope on the production. Like, I just love everything about it. I think it is a standout track on It Was Written. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I have nothing bad I can say about that song. Even Foxy's Math, I'll take it.
Here's the wild part, Porsche, and you'll like this. I actually like Mega on that song.
Smooth as Killers is Bugsy. Bitches love me.
I do love that kill because I don't hear good things coming. I don't hear good things about Cormega from almost anybody, really.
Everybody knows I can't stand Cormega, but even him on that track,
Mr. Tomato himself,
is dope. You know, and I love what Nas say. He says somebody got to die. That's logic. As long as there ain't nobody that's up in my clip.
Yep.
Yeah, very dope pick, Porsche.
Found dead with his dick in his mouth. Put the head out. Bye.
It's just a very good. Listen, this group of this posse, I'm going to call it a posse cut. Like, it is just exactly. They were able to convey the concept of this mafioso sort of rap very well, in my opinion. And I think even with Foxy's math and all of that kind of stuff, they still talked about all the right things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just brought the whole entire thing together. And I think if we're being real and we really kind of go back to it or think about it, they did a really, really good job with that track. That is a very much a standout track. So yeah.
The Mafioso era is probably my favorite era in rap. So that song stands out to me.
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
Fucking amazing.
My number 6, I got It Ain't Hard to Tell. The OG in the remix. The OG, I remember I copped the Source. I'm in Philly on South Street, Tower Records. I get the Source. And you know, they used to add the little articles with singles, and it was like Nas It Ain't Hard to Tell. I was like, yo, I gotta find that. I drove all over the city, found this Clue tape. Y'all know Clue tapes used to be mad airy, all trouble. Wouldn't be no bass and just all air. I ain't even give a fuck. Just give me that shit. Listen to it over and over again. The thing that I love about It Ain't Hard to Tell, to me, it's comparable, and I'm not trying to really say this. It's right there, just rhyming with Biz off of Long Live the Kane. But when you listen to Kane's joint, just rhyming with Biz, there's so many samples that have been pulled from that song. Like whether we talking about AZ, Rather Unique, that's from, just rhyming with Biz. There have been so many hip hop samples that have been taken from that song. And I kind of feel like this one Ain't Hard to Tell. It Ain't Hard to Tell. I excel and prevail. Like just that whole group home joint, that I excel, that prevail, like, what is it? It's so much in here. The Buddha Monks in Your Trunk, Turn the Bass Up, Not Stories by Ace Up, Play Shaluta Parties, I Shoot Up, Nas Analyze, Drop a Jewel, and Hell from the L, School of Fuel, You Feel Like Bro. Like everything about that is just perfect to me. You know what I mean? And then the Large Pro remix was just stupid. Like that literally was like mind blowing, because when he had the whole Nas is the king of disco, and we all everybody is going like fucking just like, yo, what fucking Biz song is that? When did Biz say Nas? And we like, oh yo, and I forgot who said it, but I think maybe Titan said it. He was like, nah, that's from that Recognize as the king of disco. And I'm like, this nigga done took Recognize and turned it into Nas is the king of disco, and just to I mean, that's like that mind blown emoji. It was like that times 100 of, yo, this nigga Large Pro really freaked this, and it's a totally different beat. You know what I mean? I mean, it's totally a whole different vibe to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the remix is a totally different vibe than the OG, which was crazy too. But yeah, so that's my number 6. It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Super classic.
Yeah, my number 6 is Represent. I think I said it earlier. That was the record that like really convinced me. Not that I needed that much convincing, but really convinced me that Nas was like serious on the MC side, because on that record he just spit. You know what I'm saying? Like everything else on Illmatic he kind of has a kind of has a goal, whether it's a concept or whatever. But Represent just felt like, I'm just gonna put this beat on. I just want you to spit. And like some of the shit he was saying on there, if we wasn't hanging out in front of cocaine spots, we was at the candy factory breaking the locks. Nowadays, I need cash in the hand just like the next man. Fuck a yard guard. Let me see 100 grand. Like shit like that could use a gun, son, but fuck being a wanted man. But if I hit rock bottom, then I'm gonna be the son of Sam. When I heard that shit, I was like, holy shit, this shit is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like it's like a cypher record. You know what I'm saying? Like just put a beat on and you just spit. So I mean, I think that's what I enjoyed about it. It was just like a straight up hip hop record. But every, when I hear it to this day, as soon as that shit come on, man, like I gotta listen to it. I just love that joint. I'm gonna say this though. And Mike, I know you said you liked this part at the end, but see, I'm one of them niggas after a while. I'm like, come on, man, it's supposed to be some professional shit. These niggas yelling on this record so much. Like, it just felt like it went on for too long, you know what I'm saying? But now, with nostalgia, and you look back and shit, that's just the way hip hop was. You get on, it's probably 100 niggas with you in the studio. You like, yo, y'all get in the booth and just make noise, so they just start threatening motherfuckers and shouting out gangs and shit.
Fuck you crap niggas though.
Yeah, right. But it was definitely dope, and it was definitely like one of my favorites, even to this day. Like just every time it's on, like I just love that joint. So
shit is so gully.
Yo, real quick, Mike. The crazy thing about Represent to me is I think one of the reasons why Illmatic turned out to be what it is because those producers had their own battle royal going on. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, I mean, I'm sure it's up on YouTube or somewhere, but the original Represent that Primo did was still in his daily operation Primo bag. Jazz, like it was a jazzy bassline beat. You know what I mean? It is nothing like the Represent that we heard. You know what I mean? It's strictly a jazz bassline. Like imagine Who's the Man off of Daily Operation with J. Rue, with just that like that jazz bassline. Like that. You know what I mean? And you know, Primo was like when Pete came with The World Is Yours, he's like, oh shit, I got to go back and redo that. You know what I mean? So I think that's another reason why Illmatic was so crazy, because the producers themselves, that shit was a battle royal. You know what I mean? Like that was, I mean, truth be told, to me, that's why hip hop was so good back then, because everybody was in competition with everybody. Even if it was really competition, it was literally like Prima's like, yo, I can't get upstaged by Pete, so let me go back in and do it again. When Nas would have probably been fine with the OG version. You know what I mean? Like most MCs who are hungry, especially young, they just want to rhyme. You know what I mean? Like they just want to, like, to me, Biggie would have just rhymed over fucking break beats for All Ready to Die if it was just up to him, because you're just an MC. And back in those days, getting in the studio was like, I don't know, fucking sitting courtside at the Knicks game. Like that shit just didn't happen like that. You know what I mean? So I want to say that's another reason why Illmatic was so dope, because the new Represent was 1,000,000 times better than that first one that Primo did. Like you could tell Primo was still in his jazz bag, but you know, I'm just glad we got the one we got, because I don't think we'd be talking about it in the same oomph that we are. I mean, Nas is still barring it, but the beat helps too a lot. So
yeah. So my number 6 off the classic sophomore record, it was written, and this was on the tape only. But if you got to get the European version to get Silent Murder, yo. Silent Murder, amazing shit, man. When he was like, it's like Silent Murder. I hit blunts hard like Ray Mercer, and Ray Mercer was knocking niggas out the ring. So that was an L line, you know what I mean? And I was pissed because I had the cassette in '96 when it came out. I didn't get CDs till like '98, and when I rebought the CD, I'm like, what the fuck is Silent Murder? I didn't know until years later. Shout out to my nigga Steven from Speaker Clout Podcast, my co-host. He told me it was on the European version. So a few years back, I finally got the CD with Silent Murder on it. And that's not on streaming either, so I had to put it on Apple Music. That's my shit.
That shit is Silent Murder. That shit is so whack. Not Silent Murder, but the fact that during those times that the whole point of buying a CD was to get anything bonus.
Yeah.
So why would you put the bonus on the tape? Same thing with the Above the Rim soundtrack with Pain.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
Niggas like, oh, you gotta buy the tape. Fuck you talking about? I gotta buy the tape. Like that's like a nigga telling you got to buy the 8-track. Like, yo, why would I buy the 8-track if I got the tape? Like, yo, the whole it just messed up the whole progression of recording, because it was like whatever is the next new thing is where you get the bonus. You know what I mean? Like, okay, CDs are here. Why would you then put the bonus on the tape but not the CD? So I feel you on Silent Murder. I was salty as hell. Like, what the hell?
You know what's funny? It sounds like when you gave that example with Above the Rim, and then with it was written, and I feel like something else that happened with it makes me feel like whatever I'm spitballing, but with the cassette industry, you know, if you're invested, or you know that was a big time for you or whatever, and that was transitioning, and you don't have a buy-in to the next thing, it made me feel like that was a bargaining chip. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, oh, everybody's moving to CDs. Well, this percentage of people still buy cassettes, so you got to give something a bonus or something here so people can still pick up the cassettes. But that shit is true because I have in here in the garage you remember when they used to have like the promo cassettes before an album would come out? Silent Murder was on there, and this is before the album came out. So when I got the CD, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Where's Silent Murder? That shit didn't make the album, but like you said, it was on a cassette and not the CD. So
my thing was like, yo, throw up the bat signal and let a nigga know. I would have brought the cassette. Like, yo, but don't have me go buy the CD, waiting to hear Pain and Silent Murder, and I don't hear it. Like, damn, man.
Yeah, Pain is so good. It took me years to get Pain on CD. I had to buy like the fucking the Regulate single or some shit.
Pain is my favorite Pac song. God,
it's one of my favorite. That shit is fucking hard. Across the face with my razor. It is ill. Well, we top 5 now. We get down to nitty gritty. And if y'all have time at the end, is it okay if we run across like King's Disease, give our opinions real quick?
Sure.
If you can knock this out quick. Dope.
So my number 5 is You're the Man, and I know we mentioned it, but I really, really love that. I absolutely love that track. And it's got so many standout bars. I just love everything about it. I mean, Large Professor is phenomenal, as we know. And that song, and I don't want to go on too much because we already did mention it, but I do have to say my favorite lyric in this is "Your arms are too short to box with God. I don't kill soloists. I only kill squads. Fame went to their head, so now it's F Nas." And I just think there is such a like a transfer of like he takes back sort of the power in a way from whatever feud he's dealing with when he says that, because you're acknowledging it, you're taking it back, you put it in a lyric. Now it's sort of, it kind of like doesn't give that the same power anymore. I don't know. In any case, this track is brilliant. I love Nas's delivery on it, and I think the quotables are great. And I think it's also slept on in a way. People don't really mention this track that often, and I don't really know why. So,
yeah, that's my shit too.
Yeah. The next joint I got up at number 5 is One Love. Everything I love about it. Tip, Smiling Billy. This one, I had to search high and low to finally get my hands on this record. This is the original joint right here for One Love. And just one of my favorite Tip beats. The drums, just everything. Tip on the chorus just fits. What up, kid? Shit's rough doing your bid when the cops came. Shit slid to my crib. Fucking black, no time for looking back. Plus, congratulations. I heard you got a son. I heard he looked like you. Why don't you lay right? Like, I never heard nothing like that at that time. Like, this is probably 93, 94. Because I had it before it actually dropped. I remember Beg at Morgan, our student center is McKeldin. I used to work at the candy counter in there, and I'd be playing One Love. And niggas wouldn't even know what it was. Niggas just be huddled around the candy counter like, yo, what the fuck is this? And just Jerome's niece on her way home from Jones Beach is Bug, plus Lil Rob selling drugs on the top. Just everything about the way he was rhyming. The third verse when he goes and kicking it with Shorty on the bench that got played out in Belly. Just, to me, another perfect song, man. Just perfect.
Yeah, One Love is classic. Tip did his thing on that.
My number 5, I don't even know if this ever made an album, but I love this record. I play it from time to time. It's called Find Your Wealth.
Ooh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Like the beat was just dope. You know what I'm saying? Just the vibe of the beat. The song being about, about basically finding your wealth, whether that's mentally or just money. As in wealth, you know what I'm saying? But I just like the way he, again, painted pictures in his verses, like, talking about himself being a young cat, you know what I'm saying, who is trying to make it or whatever, to make some money any way he can, whether he's a hustler or whatever. Like, what he say, looking in the store, looking at a chain, see how much it costs, Korea man brushing me off for some other big time customer, probably a hustler who looked down at my small chain and chuckled up. I said I'll be just like you soon, motherfucker. What? Like shit like that is you can see that either you've been there in some way, you know what I'm saying? You don't even have to be a hustler. It could be, you know, you live in a ghetto or whatever and visiting somebody who have a house and feeling like, you know, damn, you know, y'all got multiple TVs and y'all got a pool, like, you know, just seeing that wealth or what you consider to be wealth at your state in your life or whatever and wanting it, you know what I'm saying, bad enough to get it by whatever means. So I just thought it was a dope record. I'm not sure what album or whatever it was supposed to be on, but it's so dope. It might be on
It's on the
what's
that QB compilation.
Mm-hmm.
With Wally on it. It's on there.
It's on there. Okay. Yeah, that joint. That's one of my favorite joints. Obviously, being in the top 5. It just kind of, it's like just a dope record lyrically, musically, and kind of slept on in a lot of ways because it was on that compilation. You know, most people just really look at Nas albums and they don't look at everything, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Find Your Wealth, definitely one of my top 10.
Amazing song. Oh yeah. And we're number 5 now. My number 5 was already mentioned. Rewind of Stillmatic. Telling the story backwards. I got it as soon as I heard it, bro. But that shit was crazy. Talking no house. Talk about me, kiss Bob the head and spit the nut back in my dick. Started sucking with no hands, a whole lot of spit. Like, that shit was crazy. You know? Yeah, man. Rewind. Classic. That's all I gotta say. Killed it, a great breakdown of it.
My number 4 is Ether. And I'm not gonna, again, like I said, we've already mentioned it, we've talked about it. One thing we didn't mention and I was kind of saving was that as much as people think, you know, this diss track was better than this diss track and Takeover was better than Ether and whatever, Ether became a verb in hip hop. Like, we just have to remember that. Now it's all, you got ethered, he got ethered, that person's ethered. Like, that wasn't what anyone was calling anything prior to this track. So for me, that sort of speaks to how much it actually did kind of do what it was supposed to do and diss Jay the way that it did, because everyone sort of felt it. Like, I don't know. I mean, it speaks for itself. The thing is a verb in hip hop that we widely use and accept. So, I mean, that shows its impact.
Oh, yeah. Shit is brutal.
And then, too, another thing, I didn't even realize this till a lot of people started tweeting this. I didn't even realize, I guess Bleak said something a couple of years ago, like, yo, it was a sad day around the rock when Ether came out. And
and he dropped on Jay-Z's birthday.
I didn't even know that this dude was on Hot 97 crying. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, yo, somebody sent me that. I was like, yo, I just seen the thing like, yo, Jay-Z cried on Hot 97. I'm like, come on, yo, whatever. And I'm like, yo, is this nigga really like sniffling? Like Angie's asking him questions. And he's like, I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm like, yo, did this nigga just sniffle? Like, damn.
Listen, people like to rewrite history, and I don't want to talk about Jay because everyone already hates me because I said he doesn't have 13 classic albums. But
oh my god.
But Ether did what it was supposed to do. And I don't care how many Jay stans want to rewrite history. That stung. And I know that every year on Jay-Z's birthday, he thinks about Ether. And I have to say it again.
Hope not. Shit.
He is. I can guarantee it almost. Obviously, I can't really guarantee it, but I know that Nas is living rent-free in Jay-Z's mind every single birthday that passes. And that's all I want to say about that.
You know that had to hurt.
Yeah, and look, just for those people you were referring to, who like to rewrite history, that was in real time. That shit ain't later. When Jay-Z had that interview, that was right at the moment. And that was shit. I think that was after Super Ugly, now that I remember. And it was because, man, like Nas kind of read him like a book and made him feel vulnerable. You know, was you teased as a child, scared to smile, they called you ugly? That shit probably hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit was probably true. And he like, oh, this nigga. But yeah, man, Ether is just a great record for a number of reasons.
It is for a number of reasons. Vegas nailed it.
The number 4 joint I got is The World Is Yours. I prefer the remix, but I remember the original. I was interning at 889, and it came in the mail, and Vinny V played it, and it wasn't edited. And this back when we had to edit by hand, you know, with splicing the reel to reel and everything. It was like, yo, Vinny was like, yo, should we edit this? I'm like, yo, fuck yeah, we should. Like, yo, we gotta play this. Like, how can you not? And the thing I love the remix because I love the fact that the remix and the original are total opposites, you know, of each other. You know what I mean? I think Tip came with the beat. I love the video to the remix too. But what I love the most about The World Is Yours, and why I always say it's a lost art, is the third verse. Like, to me, that's my favorite verse on The World Is Yours. With I'm the young single bandit, hold myself down single-handed. For murder raps, I keep my thoughts alone, get remanded. Born alone, die alone. No crew to keep my crown or throne. I'm deep by sound alone, caved 1,000 miles from home. And this is my favorite line. I need a new nigga for this black cloud to follow, because while it's over me, it's too dark to see tomorrow. And I mean, like that's what I mean about and this is the nigga's third verse. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm explaining to these young boys, like, yo, you be doing 2 verses or just one long ass verse. This dude is giving you some of bar work on the third verse. He's giving you bar work where half of you niggas done tapped out already. Like, y'all already done left the song. The song over. Your song over. Now it's still going.
Right.
Putting in bar work on you, you know? And then again, it's like that I need a new nigga. Who can't feel like that? Who hasn't felt like that? Like my pastor would say, just keep living. If your life is that perfect, just keep living. You'll one day feel like there's a black cloud that just keeps following you. Like, you just can't win for losing. So, and I think Tip and Pete just, you know, again, I think it's a producer battle, man. I think Tip and Pete have had beef silently for a lot of years. And I think, you know, when Tip was like, oh, word, you want to remix to Pete? I got you. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, you know, so, yeah, so I just think Tip knew he had to come with it. I mean, even if they didn't have beef, it's like, if you gonna remix a Pete rock beat, nigga, you gotta come with it, or what's the purpose of even remixing it, you know? So yeah, that's my number 4. The World Is Yours.
Yeah, that song is like, that video is like my black cloud, because I was supposed to be in it.
Oh, word?
Yeah, I was out there when the video was being filmed, so I was outside like, fucking, I'm gonna be in this one. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I learned that videos take a long ass time to be filmed. So y'all already know me. I was like, I'm going upstairs. and that was it for me. I wasn't in the fucking video. I did the same shit with the Fight the Power joint. I was just like, damn, when they gonna film? And like, there's one scene that I don't know if I'm even in it. I never checked, but the one scene where they're going around in the crowd, because they had everybody on the basketball court in like a circle, and they took the camera around like in a circle, and that was probably the only time I did anything that was on camera. Besides that shit, I was just like, I'm not in this shit. So now when I see it, I just be like, damn, I could have been in it. That could have been my little hip hop history and shit.
It's funny, the video. That's the other thing. The remix, to me, the video was so much doper than the OG video, because I thought the OG video was kind of whack. You know what I mean? So that's the other reason why I probably love the remix better too, because it was like, yo, just him starting on the phone with the old Nextel flip joint, like, yo, I'm in Queensbridge, I ain't far. You know what I mean? So that was just dope as hell right there. You know, so yeah, definitely dope video.
My number 4 is Blazer 50. Talk about storytelling, you know what I'm saying? And what I like about his storytelling compared to like Slick Rick or even Biggie, like Slick Rick's storytelling usually is more comical, generally. You know, sometimes he has serious topics, but he typically plays characters and stuff like that, his storytelling. And Biggie's is more like I guess it's more, it's usually like a slower told tale, like warning somebody got to die, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Where you really digesting, the scenes and how he describing things. But with Blazer 50, it just has an energy to it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I don't want to say it's fast paced, but it just has a tempo to it that you don't expect when you're telling a story, because you want people to follow. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to go too fast. But Blazer 50 is just crazy. Like, this is shit he's talking about and throwing in. We flicked it up with Terrell Davis. I'm just like, damn, you just throwing fucking football players in it and shit. Like, it just created a scene just like with Undying Love, where you can envision what he was talking about. And just the whole idea, it almost, it sounded like a movie in lyric form. But again, like, one of my favorite joints, because it's just one of those songs that you're instantly impressed by him as a lyricist, just hearing the way he was able to put that shit together and see it all the way through to the end. Because it's one thing to start the shit dope and have a couple of dope lines or whatever, but to end the story in a way where you feel satisfied, like, yo, that was dope. I just thought that was just ill when he did that. And shit, was Blazer 50 on? That wasn't on Lost Tapes, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be on I Am, the double disc.
Yeah,
but it's on Lost Tapes. Yeah,
it's on Lost Tapes. Okay, yeah, but definitely one of my top 5, obviously.
Nigga was like, replace the Coke with crushed glass.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Love Blazer 50. All right, my number 4 of I Am, Nas is Like. Produced by DJ Premier. Porsha talked about it. Amazing song, supreme lyricism, crazy beat, dope video too. Yeah, man. Nas is Like. Number to say about it. Classic. Nice. Yeah.
Okay, my number 3, and I know this is literally my number 3 in Nas's discography. Rule from Stillmatic. And I know that song gets so much hate, and I don't really understand why.
I like it
because Vegas's face is exactly how I envision everyone looking at me every time I say "Rule" is such a dope song. But it is. I think this is. I don't know how to explain it. I like the original Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World song from way back when. I like that song. I never knew that I would love if one of my favorite rappers sampled it and kind of used it in a rap setting or in hip hop. But I love it. It works. I love Amarie on the as a feature. Her vocals are amazing. Like, everything about this song is actually really, really good. And if we kind of put into perspective when Stillmatic dropped, so it dropped like a couple months after 9/11 happened. Rule, sort of, if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, Rule is kind of talking about how all of these sort of things happen in the world because people are just out for power and to kind of rule the world. So for me, it's kind of full circle, the way he used it and how he addressed it. And I would urge people to go back and kind of pay attention to the lyrics, because I don't know if there's just unjust hate for this song. Do people really not like it? Like, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, I love this song. It's one of those things. It ends, I repeat it. It ends, I repeat it until someone's like, okay, can we move past that song? Because I could listen to it forever. So that one's my number 3.
Yeah, I like that song.
I can tell you why people hate it.
Please go ahead, Vegas. Please enlighten me.
I don't hate it. I just think I don't think it fit the album, and I think it was kind of I don't know. It was almost like, I don't want to say shell shock or anything like that, but it's like Braveheart Party. It was just records that derailed the rhythm of the album, given all the other songs that were on there. And then I think some people looked at it as another way to make another If I Ruled the World. But I totally agree with the lyrics. Shit he's saying in there is dope. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a bad record. I just think it was just badly placed on that album. Like if that would have been like what is that the final song on there?
Rule, like on the track list?
On the
album. It is not. No, I don't think so.
No.
I think that was my thing. I felt like
no, it's actually not. There's like 3 other tracks.
Yeah, see, I felt like that song would sound best to me on that album as the period on the end of the sentence.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Because it's just so different from everything else that was there. But it's not a bad record at all. Like, I mean, there's times where I listen to it, but Braveheart Party got skipped every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the only song I don't like on Somebody. It's probably the only song.
Yeah.
My number 3 joint, I Gave You Power. We already chopped it up about it. Again, I'll just beat people in the head. The third verse.
Yeah.
If you don't have the third verse, I Gave You Power, you don't know what the hell happens. You know what I mean? And I know he sometimes catch hell for this from my guess. Whether you call it biting, borrowing, whatever. I felt like his is better than Straight Bullet. I'm probably the minority in that. I thought Straight Bullet was cool, but I felt like Nas just took it to a whole nother level.
I agree.
So that's my number 3. I Gave You
Power. My number 3 is The Message, for everything that Kill said about the message, you know. And again, for Trackmasters, that beat, like Kill said, the first time the majority of us heard it was, you know, on the If I Ruled the World video. And, you know, I love the use of the red light to go. It's something about the red light in that scene while they play that snippet of the message that really drove it home with them sitting in the car around the corner from the building type shit. And just the fact that it was called The Message, and you had the Jay-Z line, but then you had the King line, which was more about Big too. Then you had the Fake Thug line that felt like it was about Pac. So it felt like he was just establishing, like, I'm talking to all of y'all, which was dope. But yeah, I mean, I love that record. Again, it's one of those records, throw it on, you're instantly transported back to the first time you heard it. Love the lyrics, everything about it, man. Shit he's saying in there is just ridiculous, stupid.
Oh yeah. Some great shit right there. So we're on number 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We talked about it. Kill just mentioned it. I Gave You Power if it was written. Incredible concept. That's all. Because we already talked about it with Porsha too, so not much to say, but it's the lyricism in that. Insane. Crazy story.
My number 2 is One Mic.
One Mic?
I love that because I love One Mic. Yeah. I love it because I just love the way it sort of how do I say this in a musical sense? Like, it just builds up to this almost climactic point and then just falls off right away on the beat side, like on the production side. And I think that it's very, very impressive that a rapper can rap as well and just have so much going on leading up to it and kind of follow that pattern of up and down that it does in such an effective way. That song is honestly like an audio journey, up and down. Like, you hear sirens, you hear, like, everything just sort of plays into this audio story, and it kind of paints a visual. It sort of puts you into what Nas is saying, and I think he does it in such a unique way. I don't think there's a rapper that has done a song like that besides One Mic. I don't think another song exists that has this kind of up and down, or this climactic point that follows the rapper's delivery, flow, cadence, follows the beat pattern. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard it.
Who produced that?
Thompson.
Yeah, Chucky Thompson.
Chucky Thompson.
Yeah.
Shit is crazy.
And actually, the reason why that happened, the reason why he followed that beat pattern was because I guess the story is that they were talking and Nas wanted something like Phil Collins is in the air tonight. And that sort of has the same feel. So he kind of took that as a sort of inspiration and mimicked it in a way that would match whatever Nas was saying at the time. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great show record, too. When you think about, like, if you go to his show and he performing a bunch of records and
yeah,
kind of want to bring it down a little bit, but it's still an impactful record.
Right,
like,
right.
You can really, like, you can make your audience love you with that record because then all you got to do is throw ether on after that shit and then fucking blow the whole place up. You know? That's when people go home like, yo, that was the greatest show I ever heard in my life.
My number 2 is Nas Light. For everything we just said, I remember Little Mike, one of the DJs from '89, bringing it in. And, you know, as soon as we heard that beat, it was like, yo, Nas and Primo, like whatever year that was, Nas and Primo just sounded like Melissa Ford. Like you just saw Melissa Ford on the cover of King or something. Like it was literally like Nas and Primo was just like that. So it was like, yeah, crazy beat, crazy rhymes. I'm the feeling of a millionaire spending $100 grand. You know what I mean? Like again, just so many, just dope. Video was dope. Just, you know, I think it's like Veg said, maybe you hit on something. It's got me thinking, you know, that, like you said, people want to do different things and we just want to keep them in one place. You know what I mean? Because I'm always like, that's the Nas I like. I like the Nas in Queensbridge, you know what I mean? On the block, with Premier, you know what I mean? Like that I Made You Look, the Thief's theme, like, you know what I mean? But you're right. He may want to go out and try and do other things. It's not always to sell out. It's not always for the radio. It may just be what you want to do as an artist. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's my number 2. Nas is Light.
Yeah.
I Got Killed. You saw that? You heard that, right? But my number 2 is The World Is Yours remix. I wasn't a fan of The World Is Yours, the original, mainly because I ain't like the hook. Obviously, I liked the lyrics and I thought the beat was dope, but it was something about the hook I didn't really like. But The World Is Yours remix is different because it's different lyrics and a different hook and a different beat. And like when I first heard that, man, like even saying some shit like persona a late Tony Montana, yeah, get my, I'm like, damn, yeah, right, he is late because he died in the movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just subtle shit that sound dope, you know what I'm saying? And that beat too, even the way it starts, like you already know it's going to be crazy. Like the beat doesn't even call for that level of lyricism or that complexity of lyrics, and Nasir is just killing that shit, you know what I'm saying? And the hook, the la 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 la, like that shit is pure 90s shit. Like that's the type of shit that come on where, like, you know, my sons probably be like, yo, this playing this old shit. I'm just like, yo, just watch your mouth. Like, you know, say this shit was dangerous times. You don't hear these niggas saying the la la shit. But yeah, I just love that record, man. Like I mean, I've had it for years, you know, on mixtapes, and even I think the way I have it now is like a mixtape joint, but I always hated that, like, damn, why wasn't that like a bonus track on Illmatica or something, you know what I'm saying? Because it was so different from the original. So I felt like it was a, you know, totally different record. But I mean, you can see how I feel about it with it being my number 2 out of all his records. So yeah, man, The World Is Yours remix is crazy, and my respect for Q-Tip like just started going through the roof after One Love. I'm like, God damn, Q-Tip this nigga producing everything, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, man, I love that record.
It's funny, you know, would have been crazy, and I'm actually glad this didn't happen, because if this happened, then Illmatic we'd never hear the end of it. It would have been crazy if all the producers remixed other producers' shit. You know, so like how Q-Tip remixed, you know, Pete's joint, like what if Pete remixed One Love, and Large Pro remixed The World Is Yours, and Primo, just everybody traded off at that time. Like, so niggas is still in a bag, niggas is still extra competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but if that would have came out, it'd be over. It wouldn't even be Twitter. It'd be like, it would just be called Illmatic. Like, everything.
Yeah, right.
I'm on Illmatic today. Yeah, I'm on Illmatic right now. I just Illmatic. Like, it wouldn't even.
Yeah, right.
I just tweeted. I just Illmatic. Like, so that would have been crazy if that would have came out, man. That shit would have been bonkers.
Oh yeah. My number 2, Memory Lane, Sitting in the Park.
Nice.
Off Illmatic. Yeah, that beat is crazy. Primo did his thing on that. Nas talking about the street hustlers, Fat Cat, Pappy Mason and shit. Shit is dope as hell. I love Memory Lane. It's like probably top 5 Primo beat for me as well. So yeah, my number 2, Memory Lane, Sitting in the Park. 94.
I loved how Primo was scratching the Craig G, the dopest duo coming out of Queensbridge.
Yeah, coming out of Queensbridge. Yeah, fire though.
Coming out of Queensbridge, like that was just, man, crazy.
Yeah, man. I like blazing to that shit too.
Yeah, dope song.
Get high to. Yeah, it's my shit.
What's your number 1, Porsche?
My number 1 is The Message. And I won't spend too much time, but I can't not mention it because it is my absolute favorite. I think it has the best line in music, in like the history of music ever. And that's the what is it? A thug changes and love changes and best friends become strangers. I think that people could write an entire dissertation on that one line. I think it's so profound. And I just have to commend this song every chance I get because of that one bar. But it's just on top of everything else. It is my favorite quotable, my absolute it's just the best. It's the best. I can never stop talking enough about it. Even more than any Biggie lyric, any more than any Pac lyric, that is my lyric. Like, I love it. It's just my favorite one.
So you don't like the one where they say no friends? No new friends, I mean? My bad.
What?
You don't like the line, no new friends? No.
Yeah, by Porsha's favorite rapper, Drake.
No new friends? You don't like that line?
No.
Shit.
My number 1, New York State of Mind. Like, to me, that song just, what was it? A Hennessy? How about to say a Hennessy commercial? A Heineken commercial? When Nas is on the train. Like, New York State of Mind still sounds just as incredible as it did the first time I heard it in 1993. Now in 2020, like that's literally, like Porsha was saying with that line from The Message. I never sleep because sleep is a cousin of death. I mean, to me, that's just like I remember when Naomi was still like a little kid and I'd be holding her hand. She'd be like, why you holding my hand? I'm like, nigga, sleep is the cousin of death, my nigga. Like, you get snatched up out of here in these streets if I ain't holding your hand. So, but yeah, just I love it to death. So New York State of Mind is my number 1. And again, Primo killed it. Definitely probably one of my top 5 favorite Primo beats ever. So that's my number 1.
They put me in your box with shit eats tapes.
Yep. Oh God, yeah, exactly. I'm putting me in your box. Yeah.
It was just crazy when he's, to me, like this nigga just saying beyond the walls of intelligence, life is defined. I'm like, why? How is that even in your rhymes? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't expect that on a track like that. You know what I'm saying? That's my number 1, New York State of Mind, man. Like, it's 2 records that really get me in my 90s bag. I listen to a lot of, new stuff that I like. I don't mind whatever trap. I don't give a fuck if I like it. But when them shits is on, I'm an old head. Mass Appeal and New York State of Mind. Like, instantly. New York State of Mind was such a, like Kill said, man, that shit felt like New York at that time. You know what I'm saying? It sound like it. Shit he was rhyming about. Was things that we all see, you know what I'm saying, whether you in the project hallway, you know what I'm saying, and staircase, whatever. Like, it was just another one of those records where he's doing some storytelling, he's being crazy descriptive in what he's talking about, and you know, it just fit the time of New York City and where hip hop was going as far as East Coast hip hop. It's, you know, sonically and lyrically. And I think New York State of Mind was just one of those records that just set the tone for the album, for Nas and who he was coming into this game. It stamped him. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you hear that record, it's hands down one of my favorite records. Like, sometimes, I mean, a lot of times I listen to a lot of older stuff. But, you know, some things, you know what I'm saying, you kind of got to get into the mode of wanting to hear them or whatever.
Yeah.
Not listen to them as much, but you still love them. Like, you know, it only takes a nation of millions. Like, I love that album. It's a bona fide classic. But, you know, I kind of listen to it just to remember more so than to like jam to. But like, hear that Genesis joint with the Wild Style Subway theme, and then it goes into New York State of Mind. That shit locks you into that album. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's one of the songs to me out of like at least my top 10 that kind of defines what Kill was saying he wanted from Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like, what everybody wants from Nas. They want that lyricism, that kind of production, that, you know, description in his verses. Just such a dope track. And maybe that's why some niggas can't get past It Was Written, because records like that kind of hook them in to a certain sound. So my number one for sure.
And speaking of respect, the hard part is like, because cats, I got into it the other day where I was like, yo, I don't want no Large Pro. I don't want no Primo or whatever. I just want Nas to make dope shit. You do have those people who are, like Nas said, I felt offended on Locomotive where he was like, this for my trapped in the 90s niggas. And I'm like, nigga,
y'all niggas.
I don't want you back with these niggas. I just want you making dope shit. Like, Life Is Good was fine with me. You know what I mean? Like,
dope album,
I just want you making that. But then you do have those people who are still like, no, I want him to call Large Professor right now. And I'm like, no, that's the last phone call I want him to make right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm just keeping it a buck. Primo ain't bringing that shit like he was 25 years ago. He's just not. You know, Large Pro is not bringing it like he was 25 years ago. Now, if you tell me we going to get, there was a secret Nas and Premier album recorded in 1996 that nobody ever heard, oh, I'm all ears for that. But if you're talking about 2020, the last thing, motherfucker, bring Brett Brown for another year back before I motherfucking want to hear a 2020 Nas and Premier album. I think Hit Boy brought a lot out of him that I don't think Primo can do right now. You know what I mean? Them niggas may be in there bored as shit with each other, talking about shit from 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So that's the last thing I want. But yeah, definitely. New York State of Mind is that shit.
It's kind of funny, you know, great minds think alike. I think Porsha and Vega the same number one. Well, you know, I got the same number one as Porsha. The Message.
Oh, wow.
You know, the greatest Nas song of all time, in my opinion. Fake Thug, No Love, You Get the Slug, See Me for Gusto, you know? It's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Message.
And it's an amazing way to set off an album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Especially coming back off of Illmatic. To me, that just was like Veg, you were saying with New York State of Mind having you locked in. Like the second I heard The Message, I was like, I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, what else? What else you got next? And that's not an easy thing to do, especially coming off of Illmatic. And Nas did it along with the Track Masters, boys and girls. They're not the devil. They're not Satan, everybody.
Yeah. That was a great breakdown of our top 10 tracks, man.
Yes, sir.
I want to say this all fucking episode. That shirt is fire. You got Big Boy and Andre like Palm Man and Iron Fist. Let me put that on fucking full screen.
Yeah.
For you niggas out there. That shit is fire. Yeah, that shit is fire, bro.
Looking.
Yeah. You got that Stove Guard vinyl in the back too.
Oh, bro. Shit. Woo. I post this on Twitter, man. If I buy your CD, I really fuck with your shit. If I buy the CD in the vinyl, nigga, and if I have moved other vinyl out the way to put this shit on display, that means my grandkids are listening to that album. Like all of that shit. Like my grandkids will know about code. Yes, they will, everybody. is like right there next to the Fat Albert that Pete used for the what he used to do with Marley with Flavor Flav. Not Flavor Flav. God vague. You know what I'm saying? Hot 97 Future Flavors.
Future Flavors, yeah.
Lay some treats on us. That's that Fat Albert record where they got that from. But yeah, love the guy.
Yeah, same here, man. It's one of my favorite albums this year. I don't want to keep y'all too long, going a little bit over 2 hours. No, about 2 hours, I should say. But thoughts on King's Disease. I listened to your review, babe. Dope episode in Hip Hop Now. I peeped that shit on Spotify. Yeah, me, I like the album. I think there's about maybe 3 songs I don't like. The Big Sean joint, I hated. That joint with Anderson .Paak's kind of shaky for me. I forget the other one, but shit like Blue Bands and 27 Summers and 10 Points in the Cure. Good album. Niggas want Nas still with the chipped tooth in Queensbridge, doing shit with Primo and Extra P Rock. You know, you can't have that. I live with it that we're never gonna get that shit. So it's a decent album, man. It's not like Nas EScobar, which is garbage. You know, Lost Tapes 2 I don't like either, but I can't really fault them for that because it's not even a new album. That's like, you know, old shit. But I fucks with King's Disease, man.
Vague, what was your take on it? What was your take on the album?
I like the album. I think what I like about it the most is like I said in the review, it was when I heard Life is Good, I felt like this is where he should be and stay. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how, if he's going to keep rhyming, this is where he should stay. You know what I'm saying? These types of, stories like Daughters and, you know what I'm saying? And then giving us stuff like the Locomotive joint and giving us tracks like Cherry Wine, like stay here. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to experiment. You already did that. So when I heard King's Disease, I was actually surprised because I had a feeling Hit Boy knew what he had for Nas and it wasn't going to be what he was doing for everybody else.
Right.
But I got to take my hat off to him because he produced him. Like, that's the thing that a lot of niggas don't get. Like, you could tell the difference between probably Kanye sending, and it almost sounds crazy to say that Kanye would do this, but Kanye sending Nas some tracks and really not working with it. You know what I'm saying? To make it work. Nas sounding offbeat on tracks and some not working and lyrics sounding uninspired. But on here, it felt like there was a focus. You know what I'm saying? And the records that I was like skeptical about, I wound up liking a lot. You know what I'm saying? I thought I would like the Anderson .Paak joint instantly, but I think when I listened to it a couple of times, I started to like it a little bit more. But stuff like Spicy, I didn't expect to like that much. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I did like, Kill, now you heard Fabio Foreign. Because remember, the last joint, you was like, hold up, there's a nigga named Fabio Foreign, and now the nigga show up on Nas album.
Okay, see, the wild part is with iTunes, I just listened to it. I didn't even know. I know it was ASAP Rocky and somebody else, but okay, that's Fabio.
It was ASAP Ferg.
Oh, Ferg, Rocky. I can't keep up with these goddamn ASAP niggas.
But that's the thing, like the dude with ASAP Ferg, I remember telling somebody before that I heard him rap regular because he from NY, but you know, he kind of do that down south flow most of the time, like most of them. But I was like, when I heard him rap regular before, not the shit with the Premier joint, this was early on. I was like, yo, he kind of got an ill voice and he could rap. So for him to take that approach on his Nas album, I really like that. But overall, I feel like it is good. Like I said on the review, it gets into my top 5 of the year so far, at least. Bumping out, if anybody want to know what it bumps out, because I didn't say that on the review, but it bumps out Alfredo for me because I liked Alfredo, but it could be kind of boring on the low, like with the beats probably, because Freddie Gibbs is like going and going and going.
Yeah, it's just
but you know what I'm saying. But the it's like Alchemist beats don't really match the way Freddie Gibbs is kind of killing it. But it's 2020, man, so we ain't really have a lot to choose from as far as dope stuff. But I like the album a lot. I feel like Nas was cool on most of them joints. Some of them he got crazy. it was good enough, like to me, for my expectations. Put it that way.
Right. What'd you think, Porsha?
I like it. I like it way more than Nasir. I like this album. I stayed away from the single that dropped because I wanted to go in fresh and not have any. I stayed away from the track listing. I didn't look at anything. So I went in completely and utterly like not knowing anything who was featured. Big Sean kills me. I have never heard this guy before. This was the first time I've ever heard him. And I was sitting here going, where is that tweet with Kill's lyrics and from his rhyme book? Because all of those are way better than whatever Big Sean is saying right now.
I don't think my switch your style like Pepsi, make yourself clear, is better than anything short.
No, I would prefer. No. I would prefer that Pepsi Clear line over this whatever stars he was talking about, and I'm trying to get it so that I can reference this. It is like it's brutal. Anyways, that was just the worst thing ever for me. But overall, I really liked it. I loved the Firm reunion track. I don't care what anyone says about how they don't need this and that from them. I thought it was dope. What I didn't like was I felt like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you guys can tell me if you agree or not agree, I don't know. Foxy Brown, I felt like tried to be 97 Foxy Brown. And I wish she would have just been natural. And
her voice was trash on that. I like her voice.
Listen, her voice, I don't think it's her voice. I think it was her cadence. And I think that she was trying really hard to be firm Foxy. And I don't think we wanted that. Like just Foxy being on that track with Nas, Mega, AZ, that would have been firm Foxy. We didn't need her to like, teleport us back to her rhyming style back then. And I, as a listener, I could almost hear that her cadence was forced on this track. And maybe I don't have that ear. I don't know. Did you guys hear that at all? Or
I listened to the song once. I can't stand that shit. So I don't know what Fox said or sounded like on that song. Like literally, I heard it once. I've skipped it every single time since.
Okay. Veg?
I feel the same way. For me, it was more so. I mean, it was her cadence, but I think her lyrics didn't match how everybody else was rhyming. The song was called Full Circle, even called Mega. Shit sound great, you know what I'm saying? And not to slight Cormega, but I'm saying the running joke is Cormega in front. But everybody's AZ, Nas, Cormega. It was about Full Circle being grown and shit like that. I don't know if any of them even cursed, and Foxy just came on like real, like ratchet, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers put 22 clips. I'm like, yo, like calm down. But I feel like for her, I think it was you ain't hearing.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
I think she was kind of advertising at the same time, like, because when's the last time you heard Foxy Brown rhyme, like? So I think it was like, oh, I'm back, but it just didn't fit the tone of the song. So she kind of derails it, the energy of the record, when she starts rhyming. But
okay, this is the Big Sean lyric that just killed me, and it's literally 2 lines in. So you could imagine when I heard this, I was like, "What is happening right now? How do I get this guy off of this track?" Because I like everything else except for him. He says, I know that you believe in stars, and just like stars, your words got a lot of power. What kind of MC comes to a Nas track with this bar? I'm not even a rapper, and I would come with better lyrics than this. This is absurd. So people out here championing this guy, and then I tweet about it, and people are like, oh, nah, but Big Sean can bring it. Well, why didn't he? I don't think he can bring it if he didn't bring it to a Nas joint. So miss me with all of the Big Sean stuff. He's not for me. I wrote him off after this, and that was 2 lines in. So that's my review on King's Disease.
It should have been Kendrick.
What?
Yeah.
Should have been Kendrick.
Yeah. Literally, it could, like, I brought this example up. J. Cole was on the Gangstar album that Primo put out like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
J. Cole brought, honestly, I don't know if it was his A game, but if it wasn't, like, it might as well have been. You know what I mean? Like, he came correct in that setup. Like, I feel like J. Cole was like, damn, Primo's putting me on a joint, and like Guru's gonna be on there, and like I need to, you know, step it up a little bit. He came and he delivered, and it was dope, and I loved that feature. What the hell was Big Sean doing? Like, I would like to have a word with Big Sean about this performance, because this was absurd. I would like to have a word with Big Sean. Big Sean, if you're watching this, hit me up. Like, we gotta talk.
Yeah, J. Cole would have been another.
Yeah, honestly, anybody else would have been dope. But Big Sean, you know.
Yeah, he did a terrible job. That dude's trash anyway.
What'd you think of it, Mike? What you give it?
I mean, Mike's, I give it?
Yeah.
3.5. 3.5. I listened to it more too. Only bumped it twice. You know, I'm listening to Ransom and J Royale and fucking Stove God and niggas like that right now. But yeah,
I think I'm at a 3.5. Probably end at a 4 because I like it. Like I said, there's really nothing, you know, nothing bad I could say about this joint. You know, I feel like I'm the middle of the lane thing because I don't want him with Primo and Large Pro. A lot of people's like, oh, he fucking with Hit Boy, it's gonna be whack. And I'm like, nah, Hit Boy got shits. You know what I mean? Like, he's got joints. Like, so, and I mean, I think all of it was dope. I mean, I think it starts where I love the first 5, then it kind of falls for a minute, and then I love how it ends. I'm like you, Vic. No way in the world I think I would like Spicy. I love that shit. Man.
It's hard. I like that shit. And I like Ferg on there too. Ferg did a dope verse.
The Cure is crazy when the beat flips. You know what I mean? Like, there's absolutely nothing bad that I can say about it. Again, I'm just like, am I just in the streets too goddamn much? Like I'm now looking at like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? Because I listen to Ransom and I'm like I listen to King's Disease and I'm like, it's dope, but nothing made me want to listen again. Like, nothing made me want to listen. Like, everything I heard was dope, but now it's like I said, it's like a date. Like, if you go out with a shorty and you're like, yo, that was a cool date. She was cool, whatever. I may call her back. It's totally different when you go out with a shorty and you like, yo, you leave, you know, you drop off and you like, damn, I can't wait to see her again. Like, that's what I want from Nas. Like, because again, you're a top 3 greatest rapper ever for me. So it's like, anytime you go in the booth, I'm expecting you to be at the top of your game. If you're not at the top of the game, then don't go in the booth. Like, you know, it's like, you know, like if, God, I can't be too graphic. Forget it. But I'm just saying, if you know you about to perform, do whatever you need to do to get yourself ready to perform. Okay, don't have no excuses. It was a long day, or I'm kind of stressed. If you about to do what you do, then come correct. That's all I'm saying. And then the wild part is, again, it's like, I hear this Ransom because my man's like, well, yo, if you ain't really feeling King's Disease, yo, check out this Ransom. I can't stop listening to it. And that's the problem. That's what I want from Nas. And I want somebody that I want to keep listening to. I want you to be the chick who I want to keep calling. And I'm bugging you. Like, I'm like, yo, when we going out again? Like, yo, what you doing this Friday? Like, every nigga watching has been there. You dated a shorty who you like, whatever. She calling, tell her I call her back. Then there's another shorty who you're like, yo, when can we, yo, did she call? Did she call? Like, yo, check, did anybody call me while I was out? Yo, that's what I want from Nas. And maybe everybody's right. Maybe at 50, I can't expect that from Nas. Because again, there's nothing wrong with the album. It was a great first date. We enjoyed each other's company. I may call her back. But then the problem is when you go out with a shorty the very next day, and it's just the greatest date ever, it just makes that first date now look like it ain't shit. And now I'm never calling that chick back because now I got this shorty over here. You see, if that's a good...
I love your analogies. Always have. Great way to put it. I love that shit. So King's Disease is like maybe a potential side pussy. You know what I mean?
It's not even that. It was a great... Here's the thing. If I don't listen to Ransom, I'm not having this conversation.
Word.
I didn't go out with the next chick. You see what I'm saying? But again, I'm just like, this is it. And part of me is like, I get it. Same thing with Stove God. I got a lot of people like, come on, Kill, that's too much. I get it. Y'all, I work in the hood every day for 20 years. Okay? So coke rap is going to hit me differently than it hits a lawyer, a doctor, probably any other profession in the world. So that's why I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not, maybe it's nothing wrong with Nas. Maybe it's just me. Because when I'm listening to Ransom and he's got the joint on there, he's talking about, it's almost, he's got one song that's like, what if, and he's got one song talking about karma. And I'm like, this is shit I would expect it from Nas. You know what I mean? I would have expected, because all the songs we're naming, I Give You Power, Rewind, these great concepts. Where's the concept song, Nas? Where's your karma? Like, this nigga is literally like, what if he said, I mean, like Ransom says some shit like, what if Don King died and not Cuss, Buster Douglas does that? And I'm just like, I'm like this. That's what I expect from Nas. I expect Nas to make me go like this. And he didn't. You know what I mean? And again, maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm like, you know, hey, you can't expect that anymore. But again, the difference between athletes and entertainers are your brain is still there. Your body will not allow LeBron to do what he wants to do, like what he wanted to do 20 years ago. But again, if you got nobody bugging you, don't go in the booth. This is just me. I'm not, if I know what the type tier beats I can make, and I'm not making that top tier beats anymore, and beats don't pay don't pay bills, then I probably would just fall back. Not saying I would never make beats again, but if Vegas isn't calling me like, come on, Kill, time to make an album, and nobody's like calling me, but that's just me. I'm not stepping on the court if I can't give you my all. And that's my take. If Ransom doesn't come out, I'm not saying none of this, but I'm just like, and here's the wild part. I'm not calling it hate, but I remember Ransom on Friday was like, y'all really feeling this Nas shit? Like, and he's like, Nas is my hero. Like, this is who I do this shit for. And y'all really feeling this shit? And I was like, oh, that's a little hateful. You know what I mean? But then when I hear his bar work and you're telling me like, this is your sensei, like, you got to feel like, God damn, nigga, I'm rapping better than you right now.
I agree.
Well, hold on.
I agree.
Hold up.
Thank you, Vegas. Thank you, Vegas. Thank you, Vegas.
You are comparing a nigga who already got championships to a nigga who's trying to get one.
Right.
We just named, but that's my thing. You can't compare Jordan with the Wizards jersey on to LeBron. I guess Ransom would be LeBron or whatever.
But my thing would be then retire. Because if you put the jersey on, here's the thing. Here's my thing.
But he don't have. But Ransom is still trying to catch up to his old shit. But that's the thing. So how can you compare it?
Because my thing is this. Then don't step on the floor.
How can you say that though?
Don't step on the floor and then say, "Well, take it easy on me." You know I'm old.
No, that's what you're saying. But my thing is, why you can tell him he can't rap no more because he ain't making a change. You know what?
No, here's the thing. And this is just like I say on Twitter. This is just me. This is just
I know it's you, but you said don't step on the court no more.
This is the way if you can't come at your top game, then why do it?
Compared to but that's your opinion of his top game.
Like I said at the beginning, that's why I'll gracefully bow out. I said maybe something's wrong with me.
No. I don't think nothing's wrong with you. I think it's what you're comparing, because you did compare. You comparing a hungry nigga who has no. I won't say he has no recognition. He has recognition.
Do you think LeBron is just as hungry now to win another championship as he was in the beginning? Do you think Kobe? I think Kobe was just as hungry to win, because whether it been he wanted to prove he could get more rings than Shaq, whether he could do this, whatever. There are certain people. And it's a mentality thing. There are certain people who are hungry, who want to destroy you. That's why I love Kobe. Hated him as a player, but I love his mentality. I give his books to my kids. I live on that Mamba mentality of, if I step on this court, my nigga, I'm coming for your neck. I don't care if you're young. I don't care if it's on a leg. I don't care how it is. Now, there's another nigga who wins a championship is like, I'm good. I'm good because guess what? I'm not Pat Riley. I mean, I'm not Pat Ewan. I'm not Karl Malone. I'm not John Stockton. I got my chip and I could go away. Then there are other niggas who are like, you know what? I'm coming for everybody's neck. I want more championships than Jordan. I want more championships than Red Auerbach. And maybe that's not Nas's mentality. So it's all a mentality thing. There are certain MCs who are like, guess what? I don't care if I won 20 chips. I won 21. And I'm coming back just as hungry next year as I was this year. Then there are MCs who win one chip and they say, okay, I'm good.
But that's who you should be comparing. But that's who you should be pairing them to. Somebody who's already won chips, who's still hungry.
Right.
You comparing them to a nigga who has no recognition. Like, besides, we know Ransom from the mixtape. We up on his latest project. There's a ton of people who aren't. So he's still hungry. He don't have his chips. But you comparing it to a nigga who got chips. We just laid a couple down that Ransom ain't really hit the masses with like that yet. Or at least to me, until these in these director's cuts joints.
Here's the other thing is that Nas has a tremendous amount more range than any of these new rappers do. And I'm not hating or trying to, that's not a slight. It's just Nas has more range. He'll give you an Illmatic, and it was written, a Stillmatic, a Godson, a Street's Disciple, a Lost Tapes. He'll give you all of these things. Whereas a lot of these rappers that we champion are all giving us like literally the same album over and over again, just different, slightly. I mean, it is just what it is. Like, I have to agree with Vegas, but I also have to say, well, if you're a rapper that's continuously giving me the same thing and I can't really see your range, then try that and see where you end up in the ranks of the Nas's of life. That's just me though, as a fan. I'm not a producer and I'm not an MC. So,
and I totally agree. I'm in no way saying Ransom is coming for my top 10 right now. I'm just saying right now at the end of, like I said, and I could be 100% wrong. None of us know Brian. I've never had the opportunity to meet him. I think Brian at 17 years in the league is still going to be coming at niggas' heads. He's not going to be taking no time off in the off season. He's working out hard as shit because he knows these young niggas are coming for his neck. These young niggas want what he has. And LeBron, I feel like, is still coming with everything. There's somebody else in the league who's coasting right now. I just personally felt, and again, this is just, I felt like Nas was coasting on this album. And that's cool.
But I just think that I can't compare rappers to athletes, because athletes are actually, there's an end goal, there's an end win. They get rings, they win championships, they get stats that are factual. Music is very subjective. So while you may think that Nas is not coming correct, or somebody else may think that Nas has horrible beats or whatever, a lot of other people may think that, he has 11 classics. I've heard this before.
Wow.
So do you know what I mean? Like, with an athlete, it's different. With an athlete, it's different. You can't say like, oh, he's not Bron, or like, how come Bron could do this, or how come Kobe did it? There's an end goal to that. Like, they will actually get a ring, and they will be recognized as winners of the finals, of the championship, of a ring holder. Whereas with music, me and you call something a classic kill, and people are like, well, to you, that's a personal classic. What's the entity that's calling it a classic? Well, they don't have that in basketball.
No, you're right. But what I'm just saying is, it's more of a mentality thing. For instance, I work with kids. The day comes that when I'm starting to give my kids not 100%, I will stop working with kids.
Right.
There's somebody else out there who's a teacher who's been working for 30 years they're like, I'm done with this teaching shit. I know teachers who've been working for 5 years and ain't shit. Right. And they're like, and they'll keep going. So I said, like, for me, it's just a mentality thing. So again, if somebody thinks this is Nas I was talking to somebody today, and he said, no, this is Nas at an elite rapping level. And I said, well, cool, that's cool. I don't see that. I see him as right now.
I don't agree with that.
Elite, I don't agree with that either. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I just think you can't tell another man what his mentality is when he's creating.
Oh no,
that's what you're doing.
You're absolutely right. But again, that's why I said it. That's why it's me. You know what I mean? Because
I'm just saying. But you said that, like,
well, what
his mentality, but you don't know his mentality.
No, you're right.
Well, we can only go by the lyrics, honestly.
Well, I'm
what
just saying
the
this.
mentality is.
If he's not rapping at an elite level, there would be a reason for that, right?
But it's subjective.
But no, but I'm
You
just saying
said somebody thought this shit was elite.
right. But
I don't agree. So
right, but if you feel like somebody isn't doing something at an elite level, you would then have to. Great example, your kids. We have kids. If your kid is in school and you know he's an A student, but he's coming in at C, something is wrong, right?
well, yeah, because there's right and wrong answers. You're graded, but again, music is subjective. Because does Nas feel like he's packing it in? We don't know that.
Well,
we assume that because it ain't like his prior work.
right.
We feel like his prior work is the elite work, and this is him kind of chilling. But to him, he might feel like he's still killing it. You know what I'm saying?
But if he felt that, if you was in the studio with Nas, he's like, yo, Vague, I'm killing this shit, nigga. This is me. This is bar work. Are you gonna be like, nah, nigga, it's not?
That's his opinion and my opinion.
No,
He's
but
a
would
creator.
but
I
would you
can't tell.
No, but he's asking your opinion. Like that used to be how hip hop used to be.
Well,
like,
look. But you're ignoring the fact that he asked me for my opinion, which will be different from his. I'll say it's not elite, but that doesn't mean he don't feel that way. That doesn't mean he don't feel like he's still hungry. That's what I mean. I can't say what his motivations are based off of my opinion of what he presented. I can only compare. I'm comparing it to his prior work. Whereas with him, this is the same nigga that said you wanted to be on each one of my classics. And I was like, nigga, Nostradamus ain't no goddamn classic. But he thought so. That's my point.
But here's the wild part. I'm with you, Vague. But here's the thing. In rappers and us being braggadocious, I'm a rapper now. And us being with my one little Pepsi line, being braggadocious, do we really think Nas thinks that all of his shits are classic, or is that just what you? And the only reason why I'm saying this is because what I loved about what you and Mike was talking about with the whole represent, and what I think is solely missing in hip hop, and we don't have is you don't make music for your niggas anymore. You know what I mean? Like your niggas would be like, nah, that shit is whack. Rewrite that shit, or nah, that shit is whack. And now we're at a level where nobody can tell us nothing. Nobody is ever going to be able to get J. Cole to get an outside producer because J. Cole is going to be like, nigga, I go platinum with no features every time. I make my own beats. Like, so nobody is going to be able to tell him, yeah, but you could be so much more better if you just, and I agree with you, like you said, but in J. Cole's mind, it's this, but the public's is that. So I get what you're saying. I totally get it. I just think for me, I'm just like, yo, if you're going to step in the mic, especially because you have no pressure, nobody is bothering you. Nas didn't have to come out with another album ever again in fucking life. But you're 100% right. Maybe he does think right now he's in his bag. Maybe he does think. Because how do you know if you're in your bag or not? Usually it was what was out at the time. Like, and I used to do that when I used to study beats. I would be like, okay, I'm going to study main sources, breaking atoms. Then what I would do is say, well, what else was out at that time? What was the competition like? Because Q once told Dre, was it the Chronic or the nigga? Something made him make, I think, Low End Theory. So I think he said Straight Outta Compton helped him to make Low End Theory. So where I almost feel like back in the great days, we looked at what other people were doing to base our work off of.
Well, it was a measuring stick. It was a measuring stick.
Right. So you kind of knew that your measuring stick was a Ransom. Even though he's a nobody, he's got an album out. That's my measuring stick. It wasn't Jim Jones. Like I always said with Jay, I feel like Jay plays down to his competition. When Jim Jones was dissing JJ, it's like, whatever. But then when Nas came, it brought the best out of both of them. You know what I mean? So I just feel like a lot of these rappers they're like the 96 Bulls who are going to fucking lose to the worst team in the league because they played to their competition. If we're playing against the best team in the league, man, you're getting our A game. But, you got us in, so I would think that, again, the measuring stick, to me, it doesn't matter who it is. If it's a stove guy cooks or if it's a Jay-Z, what's your measuring stick to know how good you are? And like Porsha said, it's what else was out at that time. People had to look up and say, damn, Tip just made Midnight Marauders. I got to come with some shit. because that's the measuring stick. Oh shit, them niggas just made The Shining. Oh man, they just made The Infamous. I gotta come with, and I feel like hip hop nowadays we don't have that anymore because you're 100% right. Nas may not even know who Stove God Cooks is. Nas may be like, what? Who? Ransom? Who the fuck is that nigga? Like, and so you're right. If his measuring stick is, has there even been any big releases this year? Like, I feel like everything this year has been borderline underground. It's been a whole bunch of Alfredos. It's been a bunch of Freddy's, a bunch of Griselda. Like, I don't even think anything big has come. This is probably the biggest album of the year, right?
Right. Well,
mainstream wise, I would say all my favorite shit is underground.
Will you say, Van?
No, I said Jay Electronica was probably supposed to be that.
Right, supposed to be there, but like, so that's the thing. Like, you got a good point, Vague. Nas maybe like, I am like, there is no competition because there really isn't.
Yeah, look, when you think about the examples, not to be taking this crazy long, but when you think about the examples you gave, especially the ones from back in the days, he was doing that because everybody was in their prime, so he was living up to his potential. Yeah. But Ransom, this is like Ransom's prime.
Right. No, you're right.
So
like, you may not even know who a Ransom is.
Like, yeah, like, what is Ransom doing this during Nas' prime? No. Right. He's doing this in prime Nas's twilight. So I can't really compare those two. I can listen to them both because I know they're different. You know what I'm saying? But I can't. But I'm looking at Ransom and Stove God Cooks. Now you talking. You know what I'm saying? Nas ain't got to make those because he already made them. He made them. He gave them the blueprint to make these shits. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he don't have to go back there just to prove a point in 2020 when he already proved that point years ago. You know what I'm saying?
I think for me, when I think of Twilight as entertainers, like, I love Mary's last album that she put out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at entertainers as having a Twilight because, again, I mean, unless you got fucking something wrong with your brain, you still got it. Like, unless you like, yo, my boy's
really
dead. What happened?
Like, look at Stevie Wonder.
I mean, but I think it's also a thing of being able to keep up with the times. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Nas, this is a dope album. This is in no way, shape, form, or whatever some old stuck in the 90s album. You know what I mean? Like, this album is right there. Like, to me, Mary's last album was extremely dope. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't look at rappers and entertainers as a Twilight because you're still doing it.
Well, here's a music analogy. So we don't mix up the thing, because I agree with Porsha. Basketball, you can't because they got a deadline.
The only way you can bring up basketball is if you say prime LeBron goes and knocks on 60-year-old Jordan's door and is like, we're going to go on one-on-one and I'm going to beat your ass. And then people turn around and say, oh, no, Michael Jordan's trash because LeBron killed him. Well, you're taking out of shape old fat Jordan who hasn't played basketball like that
but that's because his body isn't there anymore. But if we ask him
now, Vegas is probably going to explain.
Chess is a mind game. So if I ask you to play chess, you should still be able to play chess because it's a mind game. So when you're writing rhymes, that's your mind. That has nothing to do with I got arthritis and my knees hurt. It's your brain.
I got one for you. I got again, with basketball, you really can't use it because your body just expires. Right. So you can't, you may want to, but you just can't. With music, I agree. But hunger is somewhat similar. It is coming from a person who writes. There's times where, I want to write certain shit, whatever. But my analogy in music would be me saying I want Stevie Wonder to be 70s Stevie Wonder because Chris Brown got a dope album. Chris Brown is not Stevie Wonder. He's never gotten to the levels of Stevie Wonder. Now, maybe the popularity levels, what I'm saying? But musically, he hasn't reached what Stevie Wonder did in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? With his albums. And my thing is I can't say Stevie Wonder isn't hungry no more. He just doesn't want to write the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't want Nas to say the same shit. What I want from Nas is I want bars that make me go, ooh, that's what I want. So I don't need 70s Stevie. I don't need 92 Nas. Nas was making me go like this on Locomotive. I was like, ooh, that's nasty. Ooh. You know, burnt the top of your roof of your mouth with the pizza. Ooh, that's all I want. So he gave it to me 4 years ago when Life is Good is out. He just didn't give it to me this time. So I'm not even asking Nas to go back and do 20 years ago Nas. I'm not that bull who's like, oh, I need Queensbridge. The joint he had about Queens, what was it? Queens Family, where it was he was talking all about Queens on Life is Good. Like that shit. Like those joints was bangers to me. So that's all I want. Like I said, I just need one verse. I just need one line from Nas per song. That's it. And for me, I just didn't get that. Maybe somebody else did.
I think he gave it to you somewhere, but I don't know if you catch it. I could find it. Because remember, you're the same nigga who didn't know.
I don't want to catch it. I don't want to. I want it to be there. I don't want to have
No. Listen. I got you. You're the same nigga who didn't know Ill Will's my cousin, even though I did a song with you where I said the shit. And years later, you was like, you didn't even get it from the song. You got it from me saying it. And I was like, nigga, I did a song with you where I wrote about it.
You're right.
So that's what I mean. He might have said something. I'm not saying he did, you know.
I know what you're saying.
But he might have said something that you might be like, oh, I didn't catch that shit. You know what I'm saying? But
and keep in mind, Vague, and I said this to my man earlier. Because Mike, I'm sorry we've taken your show high.
No.
Yeah, we done turned this shit into a 5B, hip hop now, all that shit.
I think what it is, Vague, and here's the thing. I always will fall back to you because you're the MC. And what I mean by that is that, you know, I feel like you all are able to see and understand more than what I'll ever be able to see. You see what I'm saying? So if you tell me, no, Nas is still putting in bar work, it's almost kind of like how I equate to being a producer. Like, I may send you the best Jay Dilla song I think he's ever produced, and you be like, kill this, all right, this, you know, and I'm like, no, but you don't understand the way he did this, the way he did that. Like, so Nas may still be hitting certain pockets and doing things that I just as somebody who doesn't do the craft, I don't understand it. You know what I mean? So I always will fall back to you as an MC because you do this. You know what I mean? So you're gonna see the same way. I don't coach. I'm a couch coach. You know, so I'm gonna always fall back to somebody who actually does, who is a coach. Maybe somebody's like, no, Brett Brown is really, really, really a great coach. You know, and I'd have to be like, well, I mean, I don't see.
I'll say this to your point. But to your point, like I don't totally disagree. I just disagree with somebody who already got championship.
Right. I know what you're saying.
Somebody who just trying to get noticed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying he don't deserve to get noticed. Right. But I kind of feel like
it's not
what Ransom got on his shit is exactly what you said. What Stove God Cooks got on his shit is exactly what you said. That's that shit that gets you excited. You discovering new lines. You like, ooh. And Nas used to do that for us. Right. You know what I'm saying? On every record. Right. Now it's sometime. And I think that's what's frustrating, even to me. Because like I like the album, but it's kind of like it's kind of like, you know, what Oscar De La Hoya saying he coming back to fight. I'm like, why? Well, you could probably still throw that punch, nigga, but can you take one? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel. So it's kind of like that where I'll just like, okay, well, at least he still get to put out music. I can't expect. Him and Jay-Z already said the shit. You know what I'm saying? If you like my old shit, go listen to my old shit. Right. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes with people like him. But I do agree, like, shit, Jay-Z was surprising on that Jay Electronica shit. Because Jay-Z sound like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That I'm going to get in my bag on it. So I totally agree. I just think, I think Ransom needs to look at, he needs to say that shit about the niggas who want that smoke. Don't say it about.
Right. Vague?
Oh, shit, lovely.
Froze up.
Damn.
All right. Well,
but I think what Vegas was going to say was, don't say that shit about Nas. Say it about the people who want the smoke. I think.
Yeah, I feel it. Like I said, that's why like I've been to churches and I've been like, yo, why don't the choir do this? And why don't and I'll be like, you know what? Maybe it's just me. Let me just let me go find a new church. So it's the same, like I said, with Nas. It's like, hey, maybe it's just me. Maybe at 40. And again, maybe it's because I'm trapped in a fucking hood, y'all. I see crackheads every day. Okay. So yes, Stove God is gonna hit different for me. You know what I mean? So, but now I appreciate you, Mike. as always,
Oh,
man. Love
hell yeah. Anytime. The door's open. I appreciate this, y'all. For real.
All right, y'all.
Want to give y'all where people can follow you at? Real quick.
Y'all know me, Kill Apartment 5B on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. Apartment 5B every new show every Monday.
Oh yeah.
Veg, you
Porsha?
back?
Shit, I think he's a little choppy.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche. I don't think Jay-Z has 5 classics or more. So if that's what you're looking for, my TL is not the place for it. So I've blocked about 120 people off that conversation alone, and I'm not changing my mind. So that's that.
Yo, when you tweeted that thing out, can we talk about how Big Sean killed Nas? I'm like, game, I quit.
Oh, did you read my Twilight Zone tweet today? Like, the things I've seen in the last 2 weeks have made me question my entire existence on this planet. Like, I don't
swear
even
to
know.
God, Jay-Z fans are the worst.
We are so far removed from anything normal. The things I've seen are just outside of this world to me. I don't know. I'm in a parallel universe on Twitter. I don't know if you guys are part of that, but it's just wild.
Yeah, Jay-Z fans are the worst. They got at my boy Steve. You would think that Jay was paying for niggas' college, the kids' college, and fucking paying niggas' water bills. The way they were going at my boy Steve because he don't like the new day shit. But it is what it is. The whole.
Veg, you back?
Thanks, Veg, for coming on, brother.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
How can people? Anytime people get hold of you, bro.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hell yeah. We schooled this shit, top 10 Nas songs. I appreciate it, y'all.
Thank you.
Doors open anytime.
Thank you so much again, Mike, for the invite.
No problem, Porsha.
Take care.
Peace.
Anytime.
Bye, Veg.
You too. Peace. We out this bitch.